I standing in the spirit realm, a place with no sun, no moon, just gray fog and random rainbow light beams shooting around like a broken disco ball, trying to get a demon girl to sign a contract with me. And she tore it up. Right in my face. Look, I get it. I'm broke. My parents are farmers. We own 3 acres of dirt and a wooden shack that probably loses a fight to strong wind. Our yearly income? 50 silver coins. This succubus named Asherah needed 10 grams of dark essence per day just for breakfast or whatever, and my entire net worth couldn't cover her Tuesday. But here's the kicker. She thought I was hot. Her little heart-shaped eyes were practically glowing. She literally offered me a wonderful evening together as a consolation prize. Her exact logic? Mom said never sign contracts with broke guys, but Mom also said never let a cute boy escape. Succubus family values, everybody. I said no thanks and bounced out of the spirit realm before she could wrap her tail around me. That was rejection number 30. 30 different spirit creatures told me to get lost. A slime said I was too poor. A 2-headed ogre looked at my finances and said no. A rabbit, a literal moon rabbit, turned me down. The universal reason? Broke. Broke. Extremely broke. Catastrophically broke. Back in my room in Maple Leaf Town, I punched my sad little wooden bed and immediately regretted it because OW. Here's my whole tragic backstory in a nutshell. I'm a reincarnator from Earth. Used to be a Hearthstone streamer. Died. Woke up as a fertilized egg in a fantasy world. Yeah, not even a baby, a cell, and spent 16 years grinding like a maniac. Push-ups since age 5. 100 laps around the farm daily. Studied books harder than I ever studied for college entrance exams. Even went to church every week pretending to be religious, and I was an atheist in my last life. The priest was genuinely moved. I was genuinely faking it. All because in this world, you get a divine job class at 18 based on what you did before 16. 90% of people get boring life classes like farmer. My parents are both level 5 farmers. Dad grows 10% more crops. Mom grows crops 10% faster. Thrilling careers. I wanted more. I wanted supernatural power. And 10 days ago, on my 16th birthday, the heavens answered. I awakened as a summoner. A hidden class, so rare I'm the only one in the entire town. I was over the moon. Epic adventure time, right? Wrong. A summoner with no summons is literally worse than a farmer. At least my dad can grow extra potatoes. I can grow extra nothing. My one and only skill is spirit realm communication. Basically a VIP pass to get rejected by magical creatures in person. It's like a dating app where every match ghosts you because your bank account has cobwebs. Some old adventurer once told me, "Kid, poor people don't get to be summoners." I thought he was being dramatic. He was being generous. Then, right when I was at my absolute lowest, the birthmark on my hand, shaped exactly like the Hearthstone logo, which I'd been ignoring for 16 years because it never did anything, suddenly started burning hot. Before I could figure out what that meant, my parents knocked on my door to tell me my friend Emily was waiting outside, worried sick because I'd been sulking in my room for 10 straight days. So that's where things stand. 0 summons, 0 money, a mysterious glowing gaming tattoo, and a concerned friend at the door. What a life. So Emily showed up at my door looking all worried, with her cute blue hair blowing in the autumn breeze, and asked if I was okay. No, Emily. I am not okay. I have been professionally rejected by 30 magical creatures. But I said, I'm fine, because that's what broken people say. Then she hit me with the news. She awakened as an actuary class and got hired at the Adventurers Guild as a receptionist. Basically the fantasy world equivalent of landing a government desk job with full benefits and a pension. Meanwhile, I'm over here, a summoner who can't summon anything. That's like being a chef who's allergic to all food. I told her the guild was lucky to have such a pretty receptionist. She blushed and punched my chest, and for one moment life felt almost normal. Then she said the magic words, "Want to play Hearthstone?" Yes. Always yes. See, when I got reincarnated into this world, the entertainment options were absolutely tragic. So I did what any reasonable former pro gaming streamer would do. I recreated Hearthstone using wooden cards. Budget version, ghetto edition. But it worked. I picked mage and yelled, "My magic will tear you apart," like the absolute dork I am. Emily picked priest and yelled, "The light shall bring justice," right back. We battled it out, and I finished her off with a fireball to the face. Pure therapy. Better than any counselor in 2 worlds. Then Emily casually dropped a bombshell. Apparently playing my janky homemade card game for years forced her to do so much mental math that it literally shaped her job awakening. My bootleg Hearthstone gave her a career. I accidentally career coached my best friend through a card game. I couldn't even be mad. I was just stunned. But then she also warned me that since awakening Actuary, her calculation skills went through the roof, and she's catching up to me in games. The idea of losing to Emily at my own game that I brought from another world? Unacceptable. Absolutely not. Before she left, she shoved something into my arms, a handmade plush of Deathwing. Black fabric body, red keychain rings for eyes, and she'd stitched Deathwing on the wings. It looked about as terrifying as a sock puppet. 0 intimidation factor. Maximum adorableness. She'd never even played real Hearthstone or Warcraft. She made this entirely from my descriptions. She ran off with a red face before I could even react properly. Thanks, Emily, I whispered to nobody. That night, I was lying in bed hugging my derpy Deathwing plushie when the Hearthstone birthmark on my hand cranked the heat up to volcanic. I was literally losing sleep because my skin was cosplaying as a stovetop. What the hell is happening? Then, flash, blue light exploded from the mark, and I got hit with the most aggressive wave of sleepiness I've ever felt. Knocked out instantly. Next thing I know, I'm trudging through some endless wasteland in a dream. My lungs were on fire. My legs were screaming. My brain was begging me to quit. Just when I was about to collapse, I spotted a little wooden cabin glowing with warm orange light in the distance. I didn't think twice. I didn't care if it was a trap. I just wanted to sit down. I pushed open the mossy, slimy door. Warm air hit my face, and standing there was a bald dude in a white shirt and green vest, polishing a beer mug with the biggest smile you've ever seen. Hey, adventurer. Welcome to my tavern. I've got some new stuff for you to try. I stared at that shiny head. That face. That voice. What the Bob? Your bartender Bob? Bob was shocked I knew his name. Honestly, I was shocked I was looking at him at all. Let me explain who Bob is. In my past life, I was literally called the Tavern King, the #1 Battlegrounds streamer. Battlegrounds is this auto chess mode inside Hearthstone where a bald bartender named Bob serves you minions every round. I saw this man's shiny head more than I saw my own family. And now he was standing in front of me, in a dream, polishing a beer glass like nothing was weird about this situation. I must be dreaming, I said. I am definitely dreaming, I confirmed to myself. The innkeeper's not here today, Bob said cheerfully, completely ignoring my existential crisis. What do you need? And my dumb mouth, running on pure desperation autopilot, blurted out. Bob, do you have minions for recruitment? I immediately felt stupid. Recruiting summons from a dream tavern? I've officially lost it. But then Bob slapped 4 cards on the counter. Real cards. With stats. With art. With tribes. My professional gamer brain kicked in instantly. Card 1. Wrath Weaver. A little green demon dude. Gains attack when you play demons, but damages you in the process. Hard pass. I don't even know how much HP I have in this world. I'm not gambling my actual life on demon synergy. Card 2. Riverway Bouncer Fish, a pathetic 1/1 Murloc with googly yellow eyeballs. When you sell him, you get a random 1-star minion. Interesting. Card 3. Gold Grubber, a 1/1 female pirate with divine shield whose battle cry turns herself golden, meaning she'd become a 2/2 with divine shield the instant you play her. Strongest fighter of the bunch, easy safe pick. Card 4. Fortify, a tavern spell. 1 coin. Gives a minion 3 health and taunt. Bob gave me 3 coins as a welcome gift. Now, a normal person would grab the gold grubber, guaranteed 2/2 with a shield. Safe. Smart. Boring. I am not a normal person. I am the Tavern King. I bought the bouncy fish for 3 coins. Sold him immediately for 1 coin back. That triggered his effect, random 1-star minion incoming. And I had exactly 1 coin left to buy Fortify. The new card materialized in my hand, and I nearly screamed. A tiny purple baby dragon, lazily lounging on a cracked eggshell, looking like it had 0 responsibilities and all the time in the world. Twilight Whelp, the single strongest 1-star minion in existence. Stats, 1/1. Sounds weak, right? Wrong. Its death rattle summons a 3/3 dragon that immediately attacks. That's a total of 8 stat points packed into one adorable baby lizard. At tier 1, that's illegal levels of value. Then I slapped Fortify on it. Twilight Whelp became a 1/4 with Taunt and its death rattle. Enemies have to hit it first. They punch through 4 health. The baby dies. A 3/3 dragon pops out and punches them back. Beautiful. Disgusting. Chef's kiss. Perfect opening. The kind of high roll that would have had my chat spamming, rigged, and he can't keep getting away with it. Then the tavern vanished. I woke up. Same ceiling. Same crappy bed. Morning sunlight on my face. Knew it. Just a dream. Wait. I could feel them. 2 cards floating in my mind. Clear as day. Real as the bed under me. I shot upright so fast I almost gave myself whiplash. The Hearthstone birthmark. The tavern. Bob. The cards. It was all real. My cheat ability had finally arrived. 30 rejections from spirit realm creatures? Doesn't matter anymore. The Tavern King is back in business. I focused on the red card floating in my brain and thought, summon. White flash, and there she was, a tiny purple dragon baby, lazily flopped on top of a cracked eggshell, like she just woke up from a nap and had 0 plans to move. Her skin glowed with this faint purple twilight shimmer, and she had this comically oversized horn on her head that took up like 1/3 of her skull. It looked super satisfying to touch, like a stress ball, but cooler. Then a stat panel popped up over her head, and oh boy, it was way more detailed than the simple card version from the tavern. Strength, 1. Constitution, 1. Agility, 1. Spirit, 1. Charisma, 5. My dragon baby is more charming than she is strong. Relatable. Then I pulled up MY stats, and things got interesting. Strength, 1.3. Constitution, 1.2. Agility, 1.4. Spirit, 3. Average adult male baseline is 1 across the board, so 16 years of insane training actually paid off physically. But then, charisma, 20. 20. Normal people have 1. I am literally 20 times more attractive than the average person, and 30 spirit creatures still said no. They looked at this face, this 20 charisma face, and chose poverty rejection over signing with me. The materialism in the spirit realm is out of control. But you know what? Forget them. My little dragon doesn't care about my bank account. She doesn't eat food. She doesn't demand 10 grams of dark essence for breakfast. She just vibes on her eggshell. Perfect employee. I slapped the Fortify spell on her immediately. A ghostly shield from Stormwind appeared around her body, and I could literally feel her get tougher. Constitution jumped from 1 to 4, plus she gained Taunt, meaning any enemy has to attack her before they can touch me. In the game, I never cared about Taunt. In real life, where I can actually die, Taunt is the greatest thing ever invented. My mom will never have to worry about goblins shanking me during herb-picking quests again. Then a thought appeared in my head like a system notification. Next tavern visit, 7 days. Coin limit increases to 4. Must exchange real gold coins. Record scratch. Hold up, I need real money to use the tavern? And the second round is when you upgrade the tavern to unlock stronger minions, which costs exactly 4 coins. Quick math. In this world, 1 gold equals 100 silver equals 10,000 copper. 1 copper buys roughly what $1 buys back on Earth. So 4 gold coins equals $40,000 equivalent. In 1 week, I went from cheat ability unlocked to crippling financial pressure in about 90 seconds. My golden finger came with a golden price tag, but I need that upgrade. Tier 2 minions are where the real power starts. Bob will stock stronger creatures, better synergies, actual win conditions. Staying at Tier 1 is like bringing a plastic fork to a sword fight. Time is money. I gotta move now. I packed my stuff, waved goodbye to my parents sweating in the fields, and sprinted toward the Adventurers Guild. Maple Leaf Town is gorgeous in autumn. Red maple leaves drifting everywhere like the whole place has an Instagram filter on. I did not stop to appreciate any of it. I was a man on a financial mission. The guild building is shaped like a giant shield with a sword, axe, bow, and magic staff arranged on top. Apparently the rogue class threw a fit because their dagger wasn't included, and the guild's excuse was, rogues hide in shadows, so they're symbolically invisible. The rogues were so offended they literally started their own organization called the Shadow Guild. Pettiest union dispute in fantasy history. Next to the guild sat the famous Star Fruit Tavern, the fancy establishment for real adventurers. I'd never been inside because I'm allergic to having no money, and that place is basically the equivalent of a Michelin star restaurant. I took a deep breath, patted the 2 silver coins in my pocket, just enough to cover the adventurer registration fee, and stepped through the doors. 40,000 fantasy dollars in 7 days. No pressure at all. The Adventurers Guild was chaos. People everywhere, swords, armor, axes, magic staffs, and I was standing there like a lost tourist at a theme park. Then from behind me came this sandpaper voice, at maximum volume. Well, well, well. If it isn't Maple Leaf Town's first summoner, Maple Leaf Town's prettiest boy, Little Lynn. Every head in the building turned to look at me. Thanks for that. It was Dio. Dragon's Dio, a crusty old adventurer standing at a mighty 4 feet 11, with a scraggly beard, cloudy eyes, and the energy of a drunk uncle at a family barbecue. He got his legendary nickname because once, in his youth, he somehow brought back an adult white dragon's reproductive organ. Yes, a dragon dong. That was his crowning life achievement, and he has been riding that fame for decades. The man introduces himself with this story. He is proud. He's also the guy who told me, poor people don't deserve to be summoners, 10 days ago. So, mixed feelings about old Dio. But I needed directions, so I turned on the charm. Honored Elder Dio, may the god of light warm your path. May the hunting god bless your adventures. Could you please tell me how to register as a new adventurer? His cloudy eyes went wide. You want to register? You actually got a summon? Is it a slime? A goblin? I told him I'd rather not reveal what my summon was. He immediately assumed the worst, slapped his knee laughing, and went, "Ha ha, kid. There's no shame in contracting a slime. Come on, I'll take you to registration." I did not correct him. Let the man think what he wants. He led me to a quiet counterman by Pierre, a middle-aged guy with brown hair, glasses, and the energy of someone who smiles at you while secretly judging everything about your life. Pierre completely ignored Dio's existence, looked at me, and asked flatly, "Class? Registration fee?" I slapped down my 2 silver coins, the ones I'd been nervously squeezing in my pocket all morning. One coin had a griffin on it from our kingdom. The other had some short guy riding a horse, apparently a famous northern hero called Lake White Dragon Norn. Cool coins. Sweaty coins. Then Pierre dropped a bomb. New regulation. Summoners now need a summon with combat power above 5 to register. Not just any summon. Dio burst out cackling. "OHHHH, little buddy. Can your goblin even hit 5? I kept a straight face. "How do you test combat power?" Pierre led me to a room with a crystal ball inside. Simple instructions. Summon your creature, have it touch the ball, get a number. I locked the door, summoned my twilight whelp, and told her to put her paws on the glowing orb. Numbers started spinning like a slot machine. Landed on 15. Already triple the requirement. But then, the death rattle shadow activated. Behind my cute little purple baby, a bigger, meaner, angrier teenage dragon phantom materialized out of thin air. The crystal ball went berserk. Numbers rocketing upward like a stock market fever dream. Final score, 45. I put the dragon away and opened the door. Pierre glanced past me at the crystal ball, did a double take, and nearly dislocated his eyeballs. 45? That's not 4.5. That's 45. I scratched my head innocently. So, I passed, right? Can I get my adventurer badge? This man's attitude did a complete 180 so fast, he probably got whiplash. Went from, what class, pay up, to, of course, esteemed summoner, sir. Welcome to the guild. Here is my personal business card. Please take it. Wow. The respect. The business card. Where was this energy 30 seconds ago, Pierre? I flashed him my best smile. 20 points of charisma, baby. And the poor man looked like he forgot what year it was. He pulled out registration forms. Every adventurer needs a personal title. Have you thought of one? I thought for exactly 3 seconds. Yeah? Call me Hearthstone. Pierre handed me a shiny bronze badge with Hearthstone engraved on it. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt like a kid getting his first trophy. Except this trophy lets me fight monsters for money. Dio's eyes nearly popped out of his tiny skull. Your goblin actually hit combat power 5? Pierre did this magnificent condescending snort, just absolutely dripping with, "You absolute moron," energy, because obviously he'd seen the crystal ball read 45, not 5, and definitely not from a goblin. But Dio was still stuck on the goblin theory. Bless his short, bearded heart. Congratulations, Mr. Hearthstone. You are now a bronze rank adventurer. I'm sure your name will echo across Maple Leaf Town in no time. Pierre was laying it on thick. This is the same guy who was stone cold, class? 5 minutes ago. 45 combat power buys you a lot of personality from bureaucrats. Meanwhile, Dio was literally jumping up and down yelling, "Hey, stop ignoring me." And even at full jump height, he was still shorter than 16-year-old me. The man peaked at 4'11", and that peak included hair volume. I followed Pierre's directions to the quest hall, and wow. 3 meters tall, 10 meters wide, covered wall to wall in mission postings. This was the real deal. Lynn, what are you doing here? Emily, standing behind the reception desk in a cute red wool hat sitting on top of her blue hair, like a cherry on a blueberry sundae. I strutted over and waved my bronze badge in her face like a kid showing off a gold star. Look what I got. Her eyes went huge. Oh, light God above. You're an adventurer now? I was expecting celebration. Confetti. Maybe a high five. Instead, she started crying. Lynn, please don't do this. Adventuring is too dangerous. I can earn money and support you instead. Before I could respond, the universe decided to provide a visual aid. A knight named James, Bonebreaker James, apparently, walked through the front door drenched in blood, carrying his dead teammate on his shoulder. The dead guy, a ranger called Green, was missing half his torso, intestines dangling, stomach hanging out, red, yellow, white fluids dripping everywhere with every step. My stomach did a backflip. I nearly threw up my breakfast. Emily was in tears. Scenes like this. I've seen 5 of these today, and it's only my first day. 5 dead adventurers in one day. At one branch. In one small town. The casualty rate in this profession is absolutely insane. But I couldn't stop. I need money. I need tavern coins. I need stronger minions. The whole plan falls apart if I don't grind. Emily, I have reasons I can't explain. I'm sorry. I have to do this. She looked heartbroken. I felt terrible. But 4 gold coins won't earn themselves. I grabbed a beginner quest. Collect mist flowers from the mist mountains, a common ingredient for healing potions. 2 silver coins per flower. Some adventurer teams invited me to join them, but I turned everyone down. Because here's my problem. My summon is a dragon. Not just any dragon, a twilight dragon, which in Warcraft lore is basically a biological weapon created by Deathwing's wife using void dragon and black dragon DNA. It's the magical equivalent of a genetically engineered war crime. If the real dragons of this world found out some random broke kid summoned one of these abominations, I'd have problems that make being poor look like a vacation. So yeah, gotta keep her secret. Solo missions only. I reached the Mist Mountains where visibility dropped to almost nothing. Fog everywhere, like walking inside a cloud. I summoned my little purple dragon baby and gave her the coolest order I've ever given in 2 lifetimes. Enter the void. See, because twilight dragons have void dragon genes, they can phase between reality and the void dimension. My cute little eggshell-sitting baby can literally turn invisible and slip between dimensions. First adventure, officially underway. 1 broke summoner, 1 interdimensional warcrime dragon puppy, and a mountain full of flowers. Let's make some money. Walking through the Mist Mountains was like being inside a washing machine filled with fog and anxiety. Visibility? Garbage. Humidity? Maximum disgusting. My shirt was glued to my skin with sweat like some kind of gross body wallpaper. Ancient trees loomed in the mist looking like horror movie monsters waiting to jump me. Having my twilight whelp with taunt was reassuring, sure, but the mountain itself was trying to kill me in boring ways. Getting lost, dehydration, hunger, rocky terrain. All the stuff that doesn't make for a cool death story. Nobody writes legends about the guy who tripped on a rock and rolled into a ditch. After 5 hours of hiking and searching, I finally found 1 mist flower by the lake. 1 single flower. 5 hours. My hourly wage was currently less than 0. I pulled out my sickle and tweezers, tools Emily had packed for me, bless her, and started the delicate extraction process. Snap. I broke it. Immediately. First try. The flower wilted and died in my hands like my hopes and dreams. I slapped myself across the face. Why are your hands shaking? The flower was worthless now. 5 hours of work for absolutely nothing. A big fat goose egg. Then luck smiled on me. Found 5 flowers growing together 10 minutes later. My eyes literally shot out laser beams of excitement. 20 minutes of extremely careful work later. 2 dead flowers, 3 good ones. A 50% failure rate. I'm basically a surgeon who kills half his patients on the operating table. Embarrassing doesn't even begin to cover it. But then, a skill panel appeared out of nowhere. Collection LV.0, March 10th. I unlocked a skill just by doing the thing. 7 more successful harvests and I level up. That's gotta reduce the failure rate, right? Right? I tried picking regular grass to cheese the system. Nothing. No experience. The game doesn't reward you for pulling weeds. Fair enough. So back to hunting mist flowers. Found 4 more. Failed. Failed. Succeeded. Failed. 1 out of 4. I somehow got worse. My collection skill was developing backwards. Sun was going down. The fog turned from creepy to absolutely terrifying. Time to leave. Missing the tavern deadline sucks, but being dead sucks more. Then a spear flew out of the darkness, aimed directly at my head. My agility is 1.1. I couldn't dodge a beach ball thrown by a toddler. I just stood there with my eyes wide open like a deer in headlights, watching death approach at high speed. But then, taunt kicked in. The spear's trajectory literally bent midair, curving away from me and flying straight toward my dragon baby instead. Physics? Never heard of her. Taunt doesn't care about physics. My little whelp smacked the spear in half with one paw and let out the most adorable baby dragon roar you've ever heard. Like a kitten trying to be a lion. Terrifying? No. Effective? Absolutely. For scrawny gray-skinned goblins burst out of the bushes, yellow eyeballs, giant ears, ugly as sin, screaming gibberish and charging at us. First real combat. My heart was pounding out of my chest. Twilight whelp. Tear them apart. She roared and charged. 2 goblins were so scared by her dragon aura, they literally sat down on the ground. Just sat. Gave up on life. The other 2 kept coming but stood absolutely no chance against a dragon that can phase in and out of the void dimension. She scratched them, bit them, phased through their attacks like a cheating video game boss. Total victory. 0 damage taken. Was her fighting style graceful and majestic? No. She fought like an angry house cat. All claws and teeth and chaos. Very undignified for a dragon. But it worked. Nice job, baby. Being a summoner in combat is beautifully simple. Point at enemy. Tell dragon to kill. Collect loot. Repeat. I grabbed my sickle and cut off all 4 goblin ears. 5 silver coins each, plus adventure points. Not glamorous work. Definitely smelled terrible. But 20 silver coins is 20 silver coins, and adventure points are my ticket to better quests. Day 1 results. For mist flowers, for goblin ears, 1 near-death experience, and the realization that adventuring is about 70% hiking and 30% panic. Only 3 gold and 40 silver to go. No pressure. Looking at my loot bag, 4 mist flowers, 4 goblin ears, I did the math. 28 silver coins total. 1 single day of adventuring equaled 6 months of my parents' farming income. Still not enough. 4 gold in 7 days haunted me like a debt collector ghost. Sun was setting, fog was thickening, and I was speed walking toward the exit when I heard intense fighting sounds from the north. Should I check it out? I looked at my pathetic loot bag, looked at the direction of the fighting, looked at the loot bag again. Fortune favors the bold. Let's go peek. I slapped on a black mask with one eye hole. Very mysterious vigilante vibes, and crept toward the action. Yes, the mask is terrible for combat, but I'm a summoner. My combat contribution is pointing at things and yelling, "Get him!" I don't need peripheral vision for that. Through the fog, I saw one dude fighting dozens of goblins solo. Dead goblin bodies everywhere, green blood pooling on the ground like the world's most disgusting swamp. The fighter was clearly running on fumes, every swing slower than the last. Save him. Let me think about this for exactly 0 seconds. That many goblins is so much money. Twilight whelp go. Kill the goblins. My dragon baby charged in, roaring, scaring half of them into paralysis, then went full blender mode, scratching, biting, phasing through attacks. The swordsman got a second wind too and actually slashed out a glowing blue blade wave that instantly killed 2 goblins. Show off. Fight over. Total massacre. Beautiful. The swordsman collapsed on the ground gasping like a fish. I checked out his armor while he recovered, Some kind of metal I'd never seen, engraved with magic runes. That single piece of equipment probably cost more than my entire family's existence. I was jealous. Very jealous. But not, murder a guy, jealous. I have standards. He stood up and bowed deeply. Savior, thank you for saving my life. My name is Damien. I'm a magic swordsman. He pulled off his helmet, and out flowed gorgeous golden hair onto porcelain white skin. This dude's entire body screamed rich kid in neon letters. Yeah, you're welcome. All the loot is mine, though, I said in my deepest fake voice. Of course, Senior. Let me help you harvest the ears. Swing, swing, swing. Sword flashes, and 26 goblin ears were neatly sliced off and presented to me like a gift basket. This guy just handed me 130 silver coins worth of ears with a smile. Money secured. Time to disappear. Wait, Senior, what's your name? Raven. I made up on the spot. I'm wearing a mask. Nobody knows who Raven is. Perfect crime. I turned to leave again. Senior, are you a summoner? Is that dragon your summon? It's so cool. What breed is it? You're the first summoner I've ever seen with a dragon. This guy talks more than a parrot on caffeine. I said nothing and kept walking. Senior, I want to adventure with you. Get lost, I said. But my father is the president of the Radiant Moon Trading Company. I'm super rich, but my dream is to be a great adventurer, not a boring merchant like my dad. You should be a merchant. If you let me adventure with you, all loot goes to you. My feet paused for exactly 1 second. Then I shook my head. I work alone. Then this golden-haired trust fund baby pulled out the nuclear option. I'll pay you 3 gold. No, 5 gold coins per week. I'll prepay half. 2 gold coins right now. My brain short-circuited. 5 gold per week. I needed 4 gold in 7 days. This man was offering 5, just for letting him tag along. My entire impossible financial crisis, solved by a rich kid who wants to play adventurer. You sure about that? On my family's trading company name. 2 gold up front. Behind my mask, my face went through 15 emotions in 2 seconds. Shock, disbelief, greed, joy, more greed, suspicion, then acceptance. Deal. Look, I tried to be the cool, mysterious loner. I really did. But 5 gold coins per week? For doing what I was already going to do? I am a man of principle. My principle is money. Holding 2 gold coins for the first time in my life felt weirdly anticlimactic. Like, I'd been obsessing over money for days, and then this golden-haired rich boy just handed me 2 coins like they were candy wrappers. The golden griffins engraved on them were admittedly gorgeous though. Very shiny. Much wow. I told Damien to meet me at the Mist Forest entrance tomorrow at 7 a.m. He literally jumped up and down like a puppy who just learned the word walk. The man is exhausting. But he pays well, so I've decided his personality is a feature, not a bug. Back at the Adventurers Guild, Emily spotted me instantly. Her eyes lit up like Christmas lights. Lynn, you're back safe? She scanned me head to toe looking for injuries. I struck a pose, chin up, cocky grin on. First adventure. Complete success, Miss Receptionist. I tossed my loot bag on her counter like a boss. Oh, would our beautiful receptionist lady kindly count these for me? She turned pink. What did you just call me? Receptionist lady. What's wrong with that? It sounds distant. I don't like it. She was pouting. Adorable. Then she opened the bag, and her jaw hit the floor. 1, 2, 30? 30 goblin ears. Lynn, did you destroy an entire goblin nest? Look, most of those were technically Damien's kills, but she didn't need to know that. I just stood there soaking in her shock like a sponge in a bath of validation. Is showing off in front of a cute girl kind of pathetic? Yes. Did it feel amazing? Absolutely yes. Then she ruined my moment. You idiot. Don't you know mist flowers need special preservation? Look, they're all wilted. The life energy drained out, my flowers. My precious flowers that I sweated 5 hours and slapped myself in the face over. All worthless. Because I didn't know you needed special storage. I am not just a newbie adventurer. I am a newbie adventurer who didn't even do the tutorial. Final tally, 150 silver from goblins, 30 adventure points, 0 flower income. Plus Damien's 2 gold. Grand total, 3.5 gold coins in 1 day. Wait, my 7-day goal was 4 gold. I'm almost there, and it's day 1. Happiness hit me like a truck I didn't see coming. Emily got off work 15 minutes later, and we walked home together. She was bouncing around telling me gossip from the guild, and honestly, being an adventure receptionist is basically being a news anchor. She hears everything. Then she dropped a bomb. Big news. The third prince of the Golden Griffin Kingdom arrived in Maple Leaf Town today. A prince? Here? Why? She looked around conspiratorially and whispered, "The royal astronomer made a prophecy. The sun shall go dark forever. Light will cease to exist. Noah capital will burn in the fury of a black dragon. And it all begins in the Mist Mountains. Cool. An apocalypse prophecy centered on the exact mountain range where I was picking flowers 3 hours ago. Wonderful timing. So the prince is here to investigate. Yep. But I hate him," Emily said with a disgust level I'd never seen on her sweet face before. Apparently this third prince has a class called Curse Knight. He can brand curses onto people that slowly drain their life force and feed it back to himself. And he does this to random innocent civilians for fun. Regular farmers, ordinary people, cursed for no reason, dead within half a day. He already cursed a few farmers since arriving in town. Emily's hands were clasped in prayer. May the God of Light strike this monster down. The Church of Light is the kingdom's state religion, I reminded her. They're not zapping any princes. Religion? Useless when you actually need it. Classic. Then my brain caught a word on delayed replay. Wait, you said he cursed. Farmers? Yeah, farmers. My blood turned to ice. My parents are farmers. In this town. Right now? I need to get home. Now. Meanwhile, at the fancy Starfruit Tavern, the third prince was having a lovely evening being the worst person alive. His name is Darahart. Nickname, White Eagle. He's got long white hair, ruby red eyes, the mark of royalty, and a face so pretty he could be mistaken for a woman. Imagine the most beautiful angel you've ever seen. Then give that angel the moral compass of a garbage fire. That's Darahart. His butler Roosevelt was trying to talk sense into him. Your Highness, your grandfather said people are the foundation of the empire. Maybe stop cursing random civilians to death? There are criminals in the royal prison you could practice on. The prince's response? People are the empire's property. I'm just using my property. Roosevelt also reminded him about a little situation from 3 years ago. Darahart cursed some random female blacksmith to death, and her husband went full anime revenge arc. The guy trained until he became, sort of the Arctic, Gus, and now he's actively hunting the prince. Apparently Gus once caught up to Darahart and stomped on his royal face with the smelliest feet in the kingdom. The prince still has PTSD about the foot odor. He described it as lying in a goblin nest for 3 days. That smell lives rent-free in his nightmares. Beautiful. Chef's kiss. Couldn't have happened to a nicer psychopath. Anyway, I was sprinting home in a panic. When I saw the warm orange glow of the oil lamp through our cabin window, my heart finally unclenched. Parents alive. House standing. No drama. Phew. Thought something terrible would. I opened the door. Mom and Dad were sobbing. Faces streaked with tears, eyes swollen red. What happened? Mom could barely speak. Your Uncle Nick and Aunt Wendy. They. My stomach dropped through the floor. Uncle Nick and Aunt Wendy. Emily's parents. The people who fed me snacks every time I showed up at their house as a kid, always laughing, always welcoming. I didn't wait for her to finish the sentence. I bolted out the door and ran to Emily's house faster than I've ever run in 2 lifetimes. What I saw destroyed me. Emily was on her knees, trembling, cradling 2 shriveled corpses. Her parents, drained completely dry. Black curse marks crawled across their bodies like poisonous snakes. Their faces were frozen in expressions of absolute agony and terror. I couldn't breathe. Sadness, rage, heartbreak, everything crashing through my chest at once. I tried to calm down. Failed completely. Emily noticed me. Her mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. Those bright green eyes that always sparkled? Gone. Empty. Like someone turned off the lights behind them. I pulled her into my arms. I'll avenge them. Emily. She shook her head against my chest. No. Lynn. Don't go. It's dangerous. I will make that bastard pay. Lynn. You're all I have left. Don't leave me. Please. Her tears soaked through my shirt. My heart was in pieces. Then the worst possible voice interrupted this moment. Wow, 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 how touching. Really brings a tear to my eye. I turned around ready to commit violence. It was Dio. Freaking Dio. Standing there stroking his beard, lighting a cigar, looking like a sleazy used car salesman at a funeral. Kid, you want revenge, right? I got a connection for you. He pitched me this. Sign a 30-year contract with the Silver Hand Mercenary Group. They'd sponsor my summon's growth resources. The catch? For 30 years, me and my summon would be their property. Do whatever they say. Go wherever they send me. A 30-year slavery contract disguised as a favor. And Dio clearly expected me to jump at it because I was emotional and desperate. A drowning man grabbing any rope. This greasy little man was trying to recruit me at my friend's parents' funeral. What garbage? I refuse. Dio looked shocked. But, don't you want revenge? This guy? This guy? Using Emily's dead parents to run a recruitment scam for his referral bonus. Every ounce of fury I had for the third prince redirected straight at this 4'11" con artist. I told him, and I'll keep this PG, to take his precious white dragon trophy, shove it where I think he should shove it, and get as far away from me as physically possible. Some people are villains. Some people are just cockroaches in human costumes. Dio is a cockroach. When you hit rock bottom, the first person to show up isn't there to help you. They're there to sell you. Legendary Sage Lord. Militao, truer words have never been spoken. Looking at you, Dio. Next morning I showed up at the Mist Mountain entrance wearing my black mask, still emotionally wrecked from last night. Dio's face had apparently cycled through red, purple, and finally a sickly green after my verbal assault. He called me a short-sighted stinky goblin. Coming from a man whose greatest achievement involves a dragon's private parts, I'll survive. Damien was already waiting, practically vibrating with excitement. Good morning, Senior. Beautiful day. I can't believe you actually came. This man's energy level at 7 a.m. should be illegal. Walk. Yes, Raven Senior. Let's goo-goo, Damien. Can you please calm down? Yes, Senior. I promise, and no more weird yelling. He was yelling his promise not to yell. I chose not to address this. I summoned my Twilight Whelp. She'd taken some hits yesterday, health down from 4 to 2. If today got rough, she might actually die and trigger her death rattle, summoning the 3/3 dragon. But here's the beautiful thing about my Hearthstone system. Every round, meaning every weekly tavern visit, all my minions reset to full health. Even if she dies, she comes back next round good as new. Respawn mechanics in real life. Absolutely broken. Damien stared at my dragon with sparkly eyes. Senior, every time I see your summon, my admiration flows like the eternal spring of the Elven Kingdom. Endless and unstoppable. Can I pet her? No. Then I asked him about the third prince. You're from some big shot trading company, right? Any way to have that guy killed? Damien nearly choked. Senior. Even though Radiant Moon is a megacorporation spanning the entire southern continent, assassinating a prince is definitely off the table. We do too much business in the Griffin Kingdom. Fair enough. Corporate politics. But Senior, once your baby dragon grows up, beating him senseless would be easy. He had a point. With my tavern visits, 10 weeks, 10 rounds of upgrades, and I could steamroll a Tier 7 Curse Knight no problem. Patience. Just need patience. Damien filled me in on the prince's stats. Tier 7 Rare Class, Curse and Life Drain Specialization, white hair from his Snow Woman mother, blood-red eyes from King Charles V, and apparently the king's favorite child. Wonderful. The worst person in the kingdom is also the most protected. I really hope you beat that scumbag up someday, Senior. You and me both, Golden Boy. You and me both. Meanwhile, in a scene I obviously wasn't present for but pieced together later. Back at the Radiant Moon Trading Company headquarters in Noah Capital, Damien's father was having an absolute meltdown. Turns out Damien didn't just casually leave home. He used a space stone worth 1,000 gold coins. Basically a panic button teleportation item his dad gave him for life-threatening emergencies, to run away from home and play adventurer. 1,000 gold coins. To skip chores. Rich people are built different. His dad Greenwood was screaming at some poor hunched-over old servant named Hall who kept stuttering. I couldn't stop him, sir. Greenwood called in a big-deal mage named Lewis to track Damien down. Lewis showed up dressed like a farmer in a plaid shirt and brown hat. Zero wizard energy whatsoever. But apparently he was powerful enough to make everyone in the room feel his spiritual pressure like a headache. Lewis laughed creepily when he heard the news. Your son ran away from you? I support his decision. He. Then Greenwood pulled out a premium magic crystal and promised Lewis a permanent 10% discount at every Radiant Moon store. Lewis did a complete personality flip. You should have said so earlier. That brat needs a spanking. Money, the only universal language. Lewis conjured a purple crystal ball, mumbled some gibberish, and an image appeared. Foggy Mountain. Damien walking next to a masked figure. And right next to the masked figure, a certain little purple dragon. Lewis went silent. Somewhere in the Mist Mountains, I felt a chill run down my spine for no reason. Back at the Radiant Moon HQ, which I obviously didn't witness but learned about later, Lewis the plaid-shirt wizard was losing his mind over my dragon through his crystal ball. That's definitely a dragon. A species I've never seen. Hee. Greenwood just wanted to find his runaway son. Lewis just wanted to study my dragon. Nobody was on the same page. Lewis apparently laughed so much that Greenwood told him he sounded like a castrated rooster. Fair criticism, honestly. Lewis figured out we were in the Mist Mountains. Great. A powerful wizard now knows my approximate location. Love that for me. Meanwhile, in the actual Mist Mountains, I was telling Damien about the prophecy, how the royal astronomer predicted a black dragon from these mountains would destroy the capital. I could literally see the gears turning in Damien's golden head. He kept glancing between my purple dragon and me with this expression like a man doing math he doesn't want the answer to. Unknown dragon species owner who wants the third prince dead prophecy about a mountain dragon destroying the kingdom equals. He didn't say anything. Smart boy. First smart thing he's done. Hey, focus. Stop spacing out. I was busy harvesting mist flowers. My collection skill was at 8 out of 10. 2 more successful harvests and I level up. I'd actually studied collection techniques last night like a responsible adult, and both flowers I found today were perfect extractions. The student was becoming the master of flower picking. Very heroic. Damien tried to help with the flowers. I shooed him away like a fly. Back off. This flowers experience is mine. I'm not sharing skill XP with a rich boy. Then the ground started shaking. Wow. A random encounter event. Damien was thrilled. This psychopath treats near-death experiences like theme park rides. Through the fog, a massive shape was charging toward us. A thorned wild boar, basically a truck-sized pig with spikes on its back and nearly Tier 1 combat strength. Rookie adventurer's worst nightmare. But its meat sells for 5 gold coins at the Starfruit Tavern. Its tusks make rogue daggers, 1 gold each. 7 gold total. My brain did the math in approximately 0.3 seconds. Screw it, let's try. Glorious. Senior is so brave. Damien ignited his twin swords with orange flames. Actual fire, distorting the air around them, planted his feet, and charged the boar head-on. Boom. He went flying 5 meters backward like a golf ball. His fancy runic armor activated midair and created an air cushion before he hit the ground. Rich people even fall differently than us. I sent my Twilight whelp into tank. Size difference was rough. My cute little dragon versus a giant demon pig was like a chihuahua fighting a rhinoceros. Her claws that snapped goblin necks left white scratches on this thing's hide. Her dragon aura that terrified goblins? The boar didn't even blink. Too big, too dumb, too angry to care. Thank God for void phasing, or she'd have been pancaked immediately. Damien got back up laughing, and jumped back in. His magic-infused sword strikes were actually doing real damage, which was more than I could say for my dragon's sad little scratch marks. The main DPS was definitely him. Then things went sideways. Damien charged up his ultimate, arcane light blade, blue energy blazing on his sword, big, dramatic swing. The boar curled into a ball. Every black thorn on its back stood straight up and fired. Hundreds of spikes launched at Damien like a shotgun blast. His arcane blade destroyed some, but there were way too many. Twilight Whelp. Add Damien to friendly roster. The taunt effect activated. Every single spike mid-flight curved away from Damien and redirected straight at my dragon baby. She phased a bunch into the void, but there were just too many. She got turned into a pincushion. Dead. Damien's eyes went red. Dragon baby. She sacrificed herself for me. He was about to have a whole emotional moment. Then the death rattle triggered. From my dead dragon's body, a bigger, buffer, meaner dragon materialized. Thicker claws, fiercer eyes, the teenage delinquent version of my cute little whelp. A 3/3 combat-ready dragon that immediately locked onto the boar with murder in its eyes. Damien's tearful heroic grief transformed into pure confusion in about half a second. Your dragon. How is it? Why did it come back? I said nothing. Behind my mask, I was grinning so hard my face hurt. Welcome to Hearthstone Mechanics, Damien. We don't stay dead here. I pulled up the new dragon stats immediately. Twilight Hatchling. Strength 3, Constitution 3, Agility 3, Spirit 3, Charisma 3. Basically my baby dragon's older, angrier teenager phase. The only downside, no taunt. My personal meat shield perk was gone. But right now that teenager was absolutely demolishing the boar. The hatchling burst out of the whelp's corpse like an action movie sequel nobody asked for and went straight for the jugular. Claws into the boar's eyeball. Pop. Black and white fluid spraying everywhere like the world's most disgusting water balloon. The boar screamed, went blind, and after that it was just a sad, one-sided beatdown. Dragon claws slicing through the boar's now unprotected back like it was made of tofu. Timber. Giant pig hits the ground. 7 gold coins worth of bacon, secured. Damien was still standing there rubbing his eyes like a broken robot. Senior. Your summon. Got bigger, obviously. It achieved enlightenment in the moment of death and evolved on the spot. I said this with a completely straight face. Behind my mask, where no one could see my face. Perfect. Oh, I get it. This is actually your second summon. You have 2 dragons, yes. That's exactly right. 2 dragons. You nailed it. Let him believe whatever keeps him from asking questions. Damien pointed his ring at the boar corpse. Blue flash. And the entire massive pig got sucked into his storage ring like a vacuum cleaner eating a dust bunny. My eyes locked onto that ring like a hawk spotting a rabbit. Hey buddy, where can I buy one of those? Oh sure. Radiant Moon sells them. Usually 500 gold, but for you, senior, discount price, 200 gold, 200 gold. Coins. Never mind. Forget I asked. I make 3.5 gold on a good day, and this man is offering me a discount that costs more than I'd earn in a year. Rich people live on a different planet. I told Damien we were done for the week. Not just the day, the week. What? It's only noon. And what about your remaining payment? Keep it. You helped with the boar, take half the profit. I'm not leaving my house until next week. He looked like a puppy being told the park is closed forever. His eyes went red and watery. But adventure. I explained the situation plainly. My whelp had taunt. It redirected all attacks targeting me onto itself. That's my life insurance. Whelp is dead now. The hatchling has no taunt. Going out without taunt is like driving without brakes. I'll survive by staying home and being boring for 6 days. When the tavern resets, my whelp comes back, taunt comes back, safety comes back. That's the most amazing ability I've ever heard of, Damien said sadly. Even he agreed. Between a weak dragon with taunt and a strong dragon without it, taunt wins every time. Next week then, senior. Next W. What next week? A massive hand grabbed Damien's neck from behind and lifted him off the ground like a kitten. I nearly had a heart attack. Standing there was a bigger, rougher, angrier version of Damien. Same golden hair, twice the intimidation factor. Hello, friend. I'm Damien's father, Greenwood, president of Radiant Moon Trading Company. Thanks for babysitting my idiot son. Here, take this. He tossed me a ring. Not a 200 gold ring. A 700 gold high-grade storage ring. 10 square meters of space inside. Made of mithril with glowing ancient runes that made my soul feel like it was being gently vacuumed. Thank you. You're very generous. I'm not generous. I'm a merchant. I see profit potential in you. Consider this. An investment. His eyes were locked on my hatchling. This man just appraised my dragon like a stock portfolio and decided I was worth 700 gold of venture capital. Then he turned to Damien and the beating began. Smack. I told you not to run away. Smack. Do you know how worried your mother was? Smack, smack, smack. Damien was howling. I just want TOB and adventurer. You can't stop me. With your garbage skills? You'd die in a ditch. The slapping echoed through the entire mountain valley. Nature's soundtrack. Birdsong, wind, and a rich kid getting his butt hooped. Then, oh ho ho kihee. The worst laugh I've ever heard in 2 lifetimes erupted from a portal that ripped open in midair. Out stepped a fat guy in a plaid shirt and a dorky brown hat. looking like a farmer who got lost on the way to market. What a beautiful scene of fatherly love. Delightful. Uncle Lewis. Help. My father's been possessed by demons. Lewis completely ignored the screaming child. He was staring at me. Specifically, at my dragon. Young man, I'm very interested in your summon. Mind if I take a closer look? The wizard in the farmer costume was smiling. Not a comforting smile. The smile of a scientist who just found a new specimen. Great. Just great. The moment Lewis said he wanted to study my dragon, every alarm in my body went off. This dude's spiritual pressure alone was making it hard to breathe, like standing next to a running jet engine, except the jet engine wears a plaid shirt and laughs like a chicken. Don't be nervous. Every mage has a heart of golden curiosity. I swear on the god of arcane, I won't hurt your summon. Very sincere. Very convincing. Did I believe him? Not even slightly. Did I let him study the dragon anyway? Obviously. Because what was my alternative? Say no to a tier 7 archmage? Sorry, sir. I'm going to refuse the guy who could vaporize me by sneezing in my direction. Yeah, no? Plus, the hatchling resets next week anyway. Study away, old man. I summoned the hatchling. Lewis immediately noticed it was bigger than what he'd seen in his crystal ball that morning. It was a baby this morning. How is it a teenager now? Mages and their questions. Never stops. He started poking and prodding my dragon, who was hissing and baring teeth at him like an angry cat at the vet. Adorable, but utterly ineffective against someone several evolutionary tiers above you. Then Lewis detected the void energy. What is this corrupted spatial force? He literally screamed. Greenwood stopped mid-slap on Damien's butt and turned around confused. The void energy is fighting back against my mental probe. It's trying to corrupt my mind. This is fascinating. A grown man was getting his brain attacked by dark chaos energy, and his reaction was, how fun. Mages are clinically insane. Every single one. Should I have warned him that void energy is basically the source of all darkness, madness, and spiritual corruption in the Warcraft universe? Probably. Did I? Nah. Partly because he wouldn't listen, and partly because I was a little curious what would happen. Call it the chaos gremlin inside me. Then Lewis sweetened the deal. I won't freeload. Let me pop into the spirit realm and grab you a summon from an old friend. A free summon? From a tier 7 mage's personal connections? My golden finger gives me Hearthstone minions, sure, but I still didn't have a single real summon from this world. Every spirit creature had rejected me for being broke. But a mage-endorsed referral? That's like getting a job recommendation from the CEO. Thank you, senior. Much appreciated. As for whether unleashing void research might cause a global catastrophe, not my problem. I kind of wanted to see what happens actually. I'm a terrible person, and I've made peace with that. Then, BLM. The entire mountain shook. Trees swaying violently, ground trembling underfoot. What was that? I couldn't see anything through the fog, but whatever made that sound was big. Damien, of course, was thrilled. Dad, let's go check it out. The unknown. This is the true meaning of adventure. This boy just got spanked raw, and he's already trying to run toward the next explosion. You guys go ahead. I'll pass. I have a system that makes me stronger every week automatically. Why would I risk my life investigating mystery explosions when I can stay home, eat dinner, and become powerful through scheduled tavern visits like a civilized person? Damien tried to convince me. Senior, don't be scared. My dad and Uncle Lewis can protect us. I wasn't scared. I was smart. There's a difference. Lewis refused too. He only cared about my dragon. Greenwood refused because he came here specifically to stop his son from adventuring. Damien looked at all three adults, choosing safety over excitement, and looked genuinely betrayed. Deep in the mountains, the third prince was witnessing something insane. The entire mountain ridge had split open. Fog was erupting from inside like a volcano of mist, and from within, a massive dark structure was rising. A brand new dungeon. In this entire world, only 10 dungeons exist. Each one is basically a gold mine of treasures and monsters, the ultimate adventurer's playground. There's a saying among adventurers, if you've never conquered a dungeon, you don't deserve to call yourself an adventurer. The prince's butler Roosevelt was panicking. Retreat. The spatial instability could create vortexes. We'll die. But Darahart just stood there, ruby eyes reflecting the massive dark silhouette rising from the earth. Tell me, is the black dragon that's supposed to destroy our kingdom inside that? Great. So the apocalypse prophecy, the evil prince, and a brand new dungeon all just converged on the exact mountain range where I pick flowers for a living. I am so glad I decided to go home. 3 quiet days passed. Damien got dragged home by his dad, kicking and screaming about wanting to explore the new dungeon. His eyes were literally red with adventure fever. Greenwood crushed that dream like a bug under a boot. I felt a tiny bit bad for the kid. Tiny. Emily was staying at my house. Her parents were gone, and she couldn't go back to an empty home. The Adventurers Guild's response to her tragedy? 5 days of paid leave. Wow. Revolutionary grief support. Really going above and beyond there, guys. My life these 3 days was aggressively boring on purpose. I had enough money. My whelp was dead. My hatchling had no taunt. The math was simple. Stay home. Don't die. Wait for Tavern reset. I split my time between comforting Emily and bringing my hatchling to Lewis for his research sessions. Finally, the plaid-shirt wizard had a breakthrough. He ran up to me holding a glass tube containing a writhing blob of black, twisted energy, pure void essence, extracted straight from my dragon. Meanwhile, my hatchling was lying on the ground looking completely drained, like it just ran 3 marathons and donated blood afterward. I extracted it. The terrible power. Hee. His belly was jiggling so hard with excitement that dust was literally falling off his shirt. I could see individual dust clouds. Congratulations, Master Lewis. Once I master this power, I might surpass the god of arcane himself. Yeah. No. This man just extracted the cosmic source of all darkness, corruption, and madness, and his plan is to master it. He's a mortal mage poking the universe's most dangerous energy with a stick. I give him 6 months before he turns into a cackling, void-corrupted villain terrorizing the countryside. Is that my problem? Absolutely not. I care about myself and the people around me. This world has been my home for 16 years, but I still feel like a tourist. Call me chaotic neutral. Call me a chaos enjoyer. I just wanted to see what happens. Then Lewis kept his promise. I'm going to the spirit realm right now to find you a powerful summon. He vanished before I could even say thanks. I stood there staring at the empty space, genuinely jealous. Teleportation. Going wherever you want, whenever you want. That's freedom. One day I'll have that kind of power. Meanwhile, in the spirit realm, a scene I obviously reconstructed later, something hilarious was unfolding. Remember Asherah? The succubus who rejected me for being broke, then tried to seduce me as a consolation prize? She was sitting around playing with her tail, which is apparently the most sensitive part of a succubus's body. And the heart-shaped tip? It had turned pink. In succubus biology, red tail equals feeling good. Pink tail equals genuinely falling for someone. She was daydreaming about me. The broke summoner she rejected. She was having regrets. Then she got summoned by her matriarch, basically the boss of the entire succubus clan. Imagine getting called to the principal's office, but the principal is the most seductive being in existence, and your legs turn to jelly just hearing her voice. You're the only one in your generation who still doesn't have a master. I'm assigning you a summoner. But I haven't even met them yet. My old friend, a powerful mage, recommended this summoner personally. He said if this kid doesn't die young, he'll become a major power. Just sign the contract tomorrow. Done. The matriarch's old friend was Lewis. His recommendation was me. Let that sink in. The succubus who rejected me is about to be assigned to me by her own boss. She doesn't know it's me yet. The universe's comedy writing is flawless. Then the matriarch noticed the pink tail. Wait, why is your tail pink? You have a crush? Asherah, blushing. There was this summoner a few days ago. He was so handsome. If he's that handsome, why didn't you devour him? Is this how I raised you? But he was poor. You said never sign contracts with broke guys. The matriarch sighed with the energy of a mother who's given up on her daughter's life choices. You idiot. If a man is that attractive, he'll never stay poor. One little bit of selling his looks, and money would flow like a fountain. You absolute walnut. Then the matriarch told Asherah to forget about her crush and sign with the new summoner tomorrow, the one Lewis recommended. The summoner Lewis recommended. Which is me. The crush she's supposed to forget is the summoner she's being forced to sign with. She has no idea. Tomorrow is going to be incredible. Lewis gave me the details with his signature creepy grin. Meet the summon tomorrow afternoon in the spirit realm. Sign the contract. You'll love this one. Just take care of your body, Young man. Learn some self-control. What does that mean? What kind of summon requires self-control? I'll have you know, I'm a minor. Lewis stared at me blankly. What? So, right. Fantasy world. No age of consent laws. If your body works, you're good to go. This civilization has zero child protection infrastructure. Cool. Very cool. Love it here. Tomorrow was also my next tavern visit. Big day incoming. Walking through town, the place was unrecognizable. Adventurer density had tripled overnight thanks to the new dungeon, Mist City, appearing in the mountains. Maple Leaf Town went from sleepy farming village to adventurer tourist destination practically overnight. Then I spotted a woman in full silver armor with a massive silver greatsword, the vice captain of the Silver Hand mercenary group, the same organization that tried to trick me into a 30-year slave contract through Dio. Speaking of which, there was Dio, 4'11" of pure slime ball, kneeling in front of the vice captain like a loyal dog. Couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could guess the genre, scheming. Knew it. That roach is up to something. At dinner, Emily was still hollow. Empty eyes, blank expression. It broke my heart every time I looked at her. Then she asked something that caught me off guard. Lynn, is there really no way for me to ever gain supernatural power? In this world, your job class at 18 is permanent. That's the ironclad rule everyone believes. But I'm a transmigrator. I think one layer deeper than everyone else. The job system was created by the gods. So what existed before the gods made it? Was there no power at all? I don't buy that. Emily, I believe everyone can gain supernatural power, even without a combat class. I'll find a way. Honestly, my long-term plan is to get strong enough to grab a god by the collar and ask. Her dead eyes flickered with a tiny spark of life. I believe you. Good enough for now. Next afternoon. Starfruit Tavern. Lewis's room. Time to meet my new summon. I activated spirit realm communication and got pulled back into that gray foggy dimension I'd learned to hate. Lewis poofed in beside me, snapped his fingers, and conjured a private room. Almost instantly, a curvy silhouette materialized. I saw her face. She saw my face. My brain, error. Error. Does not compute. Gold digger. Cute boy. We said it at the exact same time. Then, simultaneously, why is it you? Lewis stroked his chin. Oh, you two know each other. Know her? This woman rejected me for being poor. I refused to sign a contract with her. Asherah panicked immediately. Lynn, I'm not a gold digger. Last time was. I was wrong. After we parted, I thought about your face every single day. I regret it so much. Then she whipped out her tail. The heart-shaped tip was glowing pink. Lewis practically squealed. Oh my, young man, this succubus has genuine feelings for you. I had approximately 9,000 question marks floating above my head. We met once. For like 10 minutes. She rejected me, tried to seduce me as a consolation prize. I told her to get lost, and now she's in love. Then I remembered, charisma 20. I am literally 20 times more attractive than a normal person. My face is essentially a biological weapon. A wave of ego washed over me. I couldn't help it. My inner poet from a past life surfaced for one glorious moment. Alas, how perilous it is to be this handsome. Come on, kid. She's pouring her heart out. Just accept. Lewis was playing wingman now. How do I know she's not just doing this because you told her to? 10 days ago, she called me broke and said her mommy told her never to sign with poor people. Now suddenly it's true love? I think what she really regrets is missing out on a rising stock. Asherah's face turned tomato red. And no, that's not it. Lewis jumped in with the science. Look at her tail, kid. Succubus tails are normally black. Pink means they've found their true love. It's extremely rare. She's not faking. Biologically impossible to fake. Check any reference book if you don't believe me. I stared at the pink tail. I had actually read something about this in adventure novels. I thought it was just fictional flavor text. But nope. Apparently succubus tail color romance indicators are real in this world. Fine. Okay. But let's be clear. I still can't afford your daily 10 grams of dark essence. Can you deal with that? Yes. Absolutely. And no problem. She was nodding so fast her head might have fallen off. Her tail was burning pink. Her eyes were heart-shaped again, and rational thought had clearly left the building. She just wanted to be near me. 20 points of charisma. Being broke, being talentless, being rejected 30 times. None of it matters when your face is a cheat code. While I was busy getting a new summon, some very unpleasant business was happening behind my back. Turns out Dio, that 4'11" cockroach, had been reporting on me to the Silver Hands vice captain, a woman named Kelly. Silver Flash, Kelly. She was furious that I'd refused their 30-year slave contract. Do you know how rare summoners are? Do you know how unlikely a commoner summoner is? You think I'd deal with someone like you if it wasn't for that kid? She was ripping Dio apart verbally. Deserved. Then Dio showed her my portrait. Kelly's eyes went wide. This portrait, was it enhanced? No. Actually, the real him is even more handsome. Kelly closed her eyes and exhaled slowly. Then I know exactly what happened. His summon is definitely a female humanoid creature, probably high rank too. That's why he refused so easily. 20 charisma strikes again. She literally deduced my summon's gender from my face. That's some Sherlock Holmes level detective work powered entirely by female intuition. Then she dropped the hammer. We can't wait. Our divine plan requires a rookie summoner. Every other new summoner has powerful backers. Lynn's parents are just farmers. He's our only option. Kidnap him. 3 days. Bring him alive. 300 gold coins. Dio hesitated for about 0.4 seconds before his greed won. The man who I told to shove a dragon organ where the sun doesn't shine was now being paid to kidnap me. 300 gold for betrayal. That's his price tag. Good to know. Meanwhile, in blissful ignorance of my impending abduction, I was admiring my shiny new summon. Asherah materialized in front of me wearing a classic black dress, skin white as porcelain, and looking like she'd been photoshopped by God personally. Every beauty influencer from my past life? Absolute amateurs compared to this demon girl. She was several evolutionary tiers above the concept of attractive. Master, her eyes were literally heart-shaped, and her tail was blazing pink. I completely ignored her because I was reading her stat panel. Strength, 3. Constitution, 2. Agility, 4. Spirit, 4. Charisma, 11. Excellent. She has 2 specialty stats, agility and spirit, both at 4. The cap for level 0 summons is 5, and you need to max out your specialty stats to level up. Having 2 specialties means a higher ceiling. For reference, my Twilight Whelp has 4 specialty stats, same as the legendary hero class. That's why Damien and his dad treated me like a VIP. Asherah with 2 specialties is already well above average. Her skills were even better. Dark Thorn condenses dark energy into spikes for ranged or melee attacks. Physical plus corrosion damage. Standard DPS skill. Solid. Whip of Desire. A whip made of succubus desire energy. Hits target's innermost desires. Has an extremely low chance of turning the target into a desire slave. Excuse me, slave? My evil mastermind brain immediately started scheming. Step 1. Use my Hearthstone minions to capture enemies. Step 2. Lock them in a basement. Step 3. Have Asherah whip them for 3 days straight. Step 4. Congratulations, you now own a brainwashed servant. Step 5. Repeat. Low probability? Just increase the frequency. Math doesn't lie. I started doing a villain laugh. Asherah watched me cackle like a cartoon villain, and her tail went maximum pink. Such an evil laugh. So handsome. This woman's standards are terrifying. Then, sharp pain in my brain. Alright. Unlike Hearthstone minions that cost nothing to maintain, real summons drain my spirit stat. With only 3 spirit, I could keep Asherah summoned for roughly 45 minutes, and the last 15 of those would be pure agony. 45 minutes. That's it. A man should not be this quick. I need to buy a meditation manual with adventure points ASAP and train my spirit stat. But that's a problem for tomorrow. Because tonight, it's Tavern night. Tavern upgrade. Tier 2 minions. Bob's beautiful bald head waiting for me. Bob, you beautiful bald bandit. Your boy is coming home. Dream time. Tavern time. Best time. This visit I spawned directly inside the tavern. No exhausting wasteland marathon. The warm fireplace hit me like a hug from the universe, and every ounce of stress from the past week just evaporated. But instead of Bob's beautiful bald head, I saw a stocky dwarf with red-brown hair and a bulbous nose. A face I knew intimately from my past life. Innkeeper? Hearthstone Brew. Welcome back, my friend. I almost cried. Before I became the Battlegrounds King, I was a standard Hearthstone card player. This dwarf was the icon, the face of the game. The voice I heard thousands of times clicking, Play. Boss. You don't know how much I've suffered without you. This world has no phones. No internet. No games. In those early years after reincarnation, I literally screamed, I want to play Hearthstone in my sleep. Every single night. My friend, Bob told me about you. As a welcome gift here, he pulled out a brown leather card pack. My heart stopped. Hey, card pack. It might contain powerful cards. Want to open it? Wait. Not yet. Opening a card pack is a sacred ritual. You don't just rip it open like an animal. You need to channel the luck. Summon the RNG gods. Perform the ancient ceremonies. If I pulled something like Deathwing, Nzoth, or Thun, legendary cards, I could literally march to the capital tomorrow and delete the entire Griffin Kingdom from the map. Let me check Bob's shop first. I walked to the bar. Bob laid out 4 cards as usual, but before looking, I handed him my 4 gold coins. Convert these to Tavern coins, please. Oh, lovely gold. Nice quality. Bob was beaming. For shiny Tavern coins in hand. Next visit, my conversion cap goes up to 5. Now, the cards. Annoying robot. 1/2. Mechanical, taunt, and divine shield. A chunky little defender with curly brown hair, dancing and making noise. Classic Annoyotron energy. Mana Saber. 4/1. Beast. Death Rattle. Summons 2/0 to 1 baby leopards with taunt. High attack glass cannon that leaves bodyguards behind. Frequency-based beast synergy material. Twilight Whelp, my old friend. If I bought this, I'd have 2 total. 1 more, and I could merge 3 into a golden version plus get a triple reward. A free discovery of a higher tier minion. Banana Platter, Tavern spell, gives a minion 2/2. Tempting. So tempting. That Twilight Whelp triple was calling to me like a siren. In my past life, I'd sell my entire board chasing triples. I once dumped every minion just to gamble on pulling a Brand Bronzebeard. But no. Discipline. Upgrading the Tavern to Tier 2 unlocks stronger minions, and I can still buy Tier 1 cards later. Chasing a triple at the cost of my upgrade tempo? Rookie mistake. Bob, I'll upgrade the Tavern. For coins handed back. Golden Flash. Ding. Tavern level 2 unlocked. Now you can recruit even stronger minions. I like your choice. Bob's classic voice line. Music to my ears. Now, the pack. My hands were trembling. This was the moment. Spirits of heaven and earth, Buddha, Taoism, ancestors, everyone. Give me an orange card. 3, 2, 1. Rip it open. Boom. Energy explosion. 5 cards burst out, floating face down in front of me. Card 1. Glowing white. Common quality. I flipped it without ceremony. Glacial Shard. 2/1 elemental. Battle Cry. Freeze an enemy. Cost 1 mana. Simple, useful, cheap. Fine. Card 2. White again. Common. Nesting Puppet. 4/3 undead. Death Rattle. Resummons itself with -1/-1. Then the resummoned version dies and does it again. Matryoshka Doll of Death. But costs 4 mana to summon, and my spirit stat is my mana pool. I currently have 3. I can't even use this card yet. 2 commons. My excitement was deflating like a sad balloon. Come on. 3rd card. At least give me a rare. Please. I put my finger on card 3. Golden light exploded. Before I could even see what it was, the innkeeper's booming voice shook the entire tavern. WOW. Legendary. Nobody calls the mighty Millhouse a lowly gnome. A screechy, obnoxious voice blasted out of the golden card, and my excitement crashed into a wall at full speed. Good news. Legendary card on my first pack ever. Bad news. It's Millhouse Manastorm. One of the 3 worst legendary cards in Hearthstone history. Stats? 4/4 for 2 mana. Sounds great, right? Then read the effect. Battle Cry. Next turn, all enemy spells cost 0. You read that correctly. I play this card, and then my opponent gets to cast every spell in their hand for free. It's like bringing a gun to a fight and handing it to the other guy. Who designed this? The innkeeper was cackling. In my experience, most people who play this card get killed the very next turn. Ha 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 ha. Thanks for the encouragement, buddy. Really feeling the love. But my brain started spinning. My Twilight Whelp had void powers that weren't on the card at all. So what about Millhouse? In Warcraft lore, this gnome is actually insane. Literally survived being sucked into a dimensional rift, caused multiple catastrophes across Azeroth, and knows an absurd number of spells. Everyone treats him as comic relief, but the dude is legitimately dangerous. Maybe his real-world version has hidden abilities too? Filed under. Don't use yet. Investigate later. The last 2 cards were spells. Cult Disruption, Shadow Spell. Gives a friendly minion 2/3+ elusive. Can't be targeted by spells. Then copies it. Cost, for mana. Absolutely nasty on paper. An untargetable clone? Mages in this world would have nightmares about this. Spirit of Nature, Nature Spell. Choose. Summon 3 2/3 Ghost Wolves with Taunt, or 2 4/3 Ghost Hawks with Wind Fury, double damage. Cost, 5 mana. Both amazing. Both completely unusable because my spirit is 3. I can't afford any card costing more than 3 mana. Half my legendary card pack is paperweights. So out of 5 cards, I can actually use exactly 2. Glacial Shard, cheap 2/1 freeze guy, and Millhouse, the world's most controversial gnome. Then the innkeeper dropped a critical detail. Oh, by the way, cards from packs are one-time use. If the summoned creature dies, it's dead forever. No weekly reset. Want another copy? Pray you pull it from a future pack? My Tavern minions respawn every week. Pack cards don't. That means Millhouse is essentially a single-use nuclear warhead. Powerful, but irreplaceable. I need to be extremely careful about when I deploy him. So, esteemed innkeeper, how do I get more card packs? Glad you asked. He slapped down a price tag. 500 gold per pack. Limit 1 per week. 500 gold. In the game it cost 100 gold. That's a 5 times markup. Actually no. Wait. The gold to real currency conversion is different here, so it's more like 10 times. But if you want more than 1 per week, I also sell golden packs. He pulled out a shimmering gold package. 5,000 gold each. Every card comes in beautiful golden or mutated versions. And these have no purchase limit. 5,000? And what's the difference between golden cards and normal ones? Literally nothing. They're just shiny. It's a skin. A cosmetic. 0 stat bonus. Pay 10 times more money for the exact same card, but sparkly. This dwarf innkeeper with his jolly laugh and his warm fireplace is the biggest scammer in 2 worlds. He makes mobile game developers look like charity workers. Of course, I can't even afford the regular 500 gold pack right now. My weekly earnings target just went from 5 gold for Tavern coins to 505 gold for Tavern coins plus a card pack. 505 gold per week. That, limited 1 per week, label was psychological warfare. Every week I don't buy a pack, my brain will scream, "You're falling behind." It's FOMO weaponized into a business model. Where am I supposed to get 500 gold? For the first time in my life, I actually missed Damien's annoying voice. At least that chatty rich boy came with a wallet. And there's Greenwood's storage ring I could sell, worth 700 gold, but I like it too much. Plus, a nobody summoner suddenly flashing a mithril ring worth more than most people's houses? That's just asking for trouble. I left the tavern with a splitting headache and the financial pressure of a small mortgage. Weekly budget needed. 5 gold for Tavern coins, 500 gold for a card pack. Total, 505 gold per week. Current income plan, vibes and prayers. I'm going to need a much bigger hustle. Woke up, stared at my crappy ceiling. A piece of wood looked like it was about to fall on my face. The whole cabin was shaking in the autumn wind like it was auditioning to be condemned. Maybe I should stop obsessing over getting stronger and improve my actual living conditions? Just a thought? I grabbed some parchment and wrote my weekly goals. Earn enough adventure points to buy a meditation manual for spirit training. Make at least 5 gold. Ideally 505 gold. Haha. Cries internally stop living like a medieval college student. Then Emily knocked. Happy Harvest Festival, Lynn. She was holding golden wheat stalks, eyes sparkling. First time I'd seen real life in those eyes since her parents died. My heart did a little jump of relief. Oh right, Harvest Festival. The biggest holiday in this world. The harvest goddess's birthday. She literally buffs all crop yields globally for the day. Even wars pause for this holiday. 20 years ago, 2 kingdoms mid-battle called a one-day ceasefire just because it was Harvest Festival. That's how serious people take their farming goddess. Everything was closed. Even the guild. Perfect excuse to not stress about money for one day. Let's walk around town. I'd been in this world 16 years and never properly enjoyed a festival. Too busy doing push-ups and reading textbooks. Time to actually live for once. Plus, Emily needed this. If she was reaching out, I wasn't going to say no. We stepped outside and immediately encountered a problem. "What is that?" Emily screamed. Sitting at my front door was a clay giant, 2 stories tall, made entirely of dirt and magic. Just sitting there, like a very large, very patient delivery man. Neighbors were pointing and whispering. Experienced adventurers took one look and speed walked away. A golem? I summoned my twilight whelp instantly. Taunt mode activated, safety first. But the golem didn't attack. It creaked, made grinding noises, then bowed to me and extended a hand the size of Emily's entire head. On the hand, a letter. I opened it. The handwriting was atrocious. Like a drunk toddler holding a quill with their feet. "Hello, Raven. Or should I call you Hearthstone? Or Lynn? Whatever. It's Lewis." My stomach dropped. He knew all my identities. My Raven disguise, just a black mask, fooled Damien because Damien has the observation skills of a golden retriever. But a tier 7 archmage? Yeah, he probably saw through it before I even finished putting it on. "Don't be scared of the golem. I heard about what happened to your friend's family. Regular people killed by a supernatural. So I made you this home guardian. Only mages tier 5 and above can create golems. Nobody's going to mess with ordinary people who are clearly under a mage's protection." I actually got emotional reading that. Lewis is annoying, laughs like a dying chicken, dresses like a farmer at a costume party, and has zero social awareness. But he thought about my family's safety without me even asking. My parents and Emily are my only weak points in this world, and this crazy wizard just covered them. "Lewis, you absolute legend. But your handwriting is a disgrace to the mage profession." The letter continued. "Forgive my sudden departure. Something incredible has happened. Have you heard of Shadow City? The legendary floating fortress of the Alpha Empire, a magical civilization so powerful that gods bowed to them, which vanished 5,000 years ago. It's back, appeared above the Sahara Desert. The Alpha Empire had the most advanced magic in history, and Shadow City supposedly contains complete records of it all. You know what this means for a mage. I have to go. Next time we meet, I hope you'll be a summoner whose name echoes across the continent." I folded the letter. Heavy stuff. The Sahara Desert is connected to some kind of endless hell dimension where powerful demons roam. Lewis was charging headfirst into one of the most dangerous places in the world, chasing ancient forbidden knowledge, with a tube of void energy in his pocket. "Lewis, you crazy bastard. Stay alive." Emily waited patiently until I finished reading. "Lynn, what's going on? What is all this?" "Oh, just a letter from my mage friend. And that dirt pile is our new home security system. Don't worry about it, mage friend." Her green eyes went dinner plate wide. "A few days ago, I was a broke summoner who couldn't get a single contract. Now I have a mage buddy and a golem bodyguard." She glanced at my twilight whelp, who was sitting there looking dopey and adorable as usual. I could see the gears turning. "That's not a dragon, is it? Remember to keep everything secret." "Okay, Miss Emily." I winked. "I told you I'd avenge your parents. Believe me." For the first time, she looked at me like she actually believed it. Not just, he's saying nice things to comfort me, but genuine belief. Tears started rolling down her cheeks. Before the moment could settle, a deep, commanding voice interrupted from nearby. "Excuse me. Do you happen to know where the 3rd prince of the Griffin Kingdom, Darahart, is?" We both turned to look. Oh great. Someone else looking for the psychopath prince. This town is getting way too crowded. I turned around and nearly got a neck cramp looking up at this guy. Almost 2 meters tall, buzz cut, muscles that looked like someone inflated a human with a bicycle pump, and strapped to his back was a sword bigger than he was. 1/2 meter wide. That's not a sword, that's a surfboard with anger issues. The life energy radiating off this dude made me feel like a baby chick standing next to a nuclear reactor. Every cell in my body screamed, "Do not lie to this man." The 3rd prince? If he's still in town, try the Starfruit Tavern. Best food and lodging in Maple Leaf Town. He nodded, glanced at my golem. "Thanks, friend. Name's Gus." "Gus? Wait, Gus? The guy whose wife the prince murdered? The sort of the Arctic, who stomped on the prince's face with his stinky feet. That Gus." Before I could process this, Gus jumped. Straight up, left a crater in the ground. Shot 100 meters into the sky like a human cannonball and slammed down right in front of the Starfruit Tavern. I felt the earthquake from a kilometer away. "Darahart, you piece of garbage. Get out here." His voice shook the entire town. Every single person in Maple Leaf Town heard that. The prince strolled out looking elegant as always. White hair flowing, ruby eyes gleaming. Except his expression was pure poison. These two looked at each other with enough hatred to set the air on fire. Then, right before they could fight, a woman with wine-red hair appeared out of nowhere. Starfruit Tavern. No fighting. She dropped those 4 words. A massive magic circle materialized above both men, and flash, they both teleported away. Just like that. Fight over in the lobby, rescheduled to the mountains. And what a fight it was. From town, I watched the Mist Mountains become a war zone. A colossal ice sword appeared in the sky, Gus's power, so cold it turned the sun blue. Then a massive gray, cursed sigil erupted upward, the same disgusting magic that killed Emily's parents. Except now, it was hundreds of meters tall. Half the sky turned ice blue. The other half turned ashen gray. 2 titans clashing above the mountains like the world's most terrifying weather system. I was eating this up. Emily, at this rate, someone else might avenge your parents before I even get the Chan. Then the script flipped. A beam of holy light, bright, pure, sacred, joined the battle. And it helped. The cursed side. The supposedly good, righteous light was backing the murderous prince. The Church of Light, ladies and gentlemen. State religion. Protecting royalty. Shocker. Gus, now fighting 2-on-1, retreated in a streak of blue light. The prince was screaming, "I want him dead," like a toddler throwing a tantrum until his butler Roosevelt calmed him down and convinced him to report back to the capital about the new dungeon instead of throwing a little tantrum. Fight over. My jaw was on the floor. That is what high-tier combat looks like in this world. Sky-splitting swords. City-sized curse marks. Teleportation. I glanced at my tiny dragon baby. One sword swing from either of those guys would turn my whelp into purple confetti. I need to get stronger. Much stronger. Fast. One silver lining. The wine-red-haired woman who teleported both fighters? Apparently that's Florina, the Starfruit Tavern owner. A secret powerhouse mage running a bar. Emily told me Florina was always nice to her. Gave her free drinks because Emily's blue hair reminded her of someone she lost. Emily, that's your golden ticket right there. Befriend that woman. Meanwhile, and I found this out later, the cockroach was making moves. Dio was meeting with a one-eyed thug from a gang called the Viper Gang. The one-eyed guy insulted Dio's height, his courage, and his mother in approximately 15 seconds. Dio insulted him back with equal venom. Then Dio said, 50 gold, instant attitude change. Oh my dear friend, please, tell me everything. I need you to kidnap someone for me. 300 gold from Kelly. 50 gold to the gang. Pocketing 250 for himself. And the someone was me. The cockroach was making his move. And I had absolutely no idea. While Dio and his one-eyed thug buddy were haggling over my kidnapping price like I was a clearance rack item, they eventually settled on 65 gold, 23 silver, and 57 copper, because apparently my freedom has very specific market value. I was having a lovely harvest festival afternoon completely unaware that I was being treated as merchandise. The one-eyed guy from the Viper Gang initially wanted 100 gold. Dio screamed about it for an hour. They negotiated my abduction fee the way normal people negotiate furniture. The light god will not bless greedy people like you, Dio yelled, which is rich coming from a man being paid 300 gold to sell out someone he's known for years. Fun world-building sidebar. In this world, skin color doesn't cause discrimination. Dark elves, green orcs, blue whatever, nobody cares. What does get you discriminated against? Straw-colored messy hair. That makes you untouchable. This world's prejudices are wild. Anyway, I came home with Emily, who was carrying a bouquet of flowers I'd bought her, doing that cute thing where she keeps sniffing them with her eyes closed. Her blue hair caught the afternoon light, and honestly, the whole scene was so peaceful I zoned out just watching. Thank you, Lynn. I love this gift, she said, face pink, clearly not used to expressing feelings directly. I patted her head. Her hair was impossibly soft, like petting a cloud made of silk. I've always wondered, both her parents had black hair. How'd she end up with ocean blue? Genetic mutation? This is a fantasy world. I should probably stop applying biology. Then we got home, and my mom activated mom mode. She was beaming at Emily. You could practically see the thought bubble above her head. Future daughter-in-law. Grandchildren. Tiny babies. In this world, 16 is peak marriage age. You awaken your class, your career trajectory is basically locked in, and parents immediately start matchmaking. My parents married at 17, 1 year after both awakening as farmers. In Mom's mind, her son is an adventurer, exciting, high ceiling. Emily works at the guild, stable, safe. They grew up together. She's beautiful, good personality, perfect match. Case closed. Start planning the wedding. While I was obliviously walking to my room, Mom grabbed Emily's hands outside the door. So, Emily dear, what do you think of our little Lynn? Auntie Lisa. What are you saying? Emily's face went full tomato. She was death-gripping the flowers I gave her and staring at the floor. Mom saw right through her. 35 years of life experience versus a 16-year-old girl's poker face. No contest. You can start calling me Mom, you know? I'd like that. Mom. Emily whispered it quieter than a mosquito. Mom heard it perfectly, said, good, 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 3 times, and practically danced to the kitchen to cook a feast. Silvertail fish, stewed meat, dark rye bread. She was humming. Peak happiness achieved. I knew nothing about any of this. I was in my room having my mind blown, because I'd finally summoned Millhouse Manastorm and checked his real-world stats. Strength, 4. Constitution, 4. Agility, 4. All solid. Then, Spirit, 45. 40. 5. My spirit is 3. This tiny gnome's spirit stat is 15 times mine. He's the only being in all of Azeroth who fell into a dimensional rift and survived. That insane spirit stat is probably why. And his skills? Oh my god, his skills. Core ability, unstoppable, summons energy crystals. While inside the crystal beam, gains unstoppable buff. Each stack adds 5% damage. Caps at 100 stacks. At max stacks triggers, Doom. Massive shadow damage nuke. Then his regular skills. Frostbolt, Shadow Bolt, Energy Deflection, Suppression Force, Cold Heart, Counterspell, Arcane Missiles, Fire Spells, Arcane Explosion. 9 standard spells. This gnome has a bigger spell library than most mages in this world have ever seen. And the evaluation at the bottom? Research capability, top tier. Fundamentals, rock solid. Combat performance, 3 question marks. Because Millhouse is simultaneously one of the most talented mages to ever exist and the biggest clown in Warcraft history. His potential is through the roof. His track record is a comedy special. But in this world, with me directing him instead of the game's AI, with real tactical decisions instead of meme battle cries, this, worst legendary in Hearthstone, might actually be my strongest card. The gnome nobody wanted. The meme everyone laughed at. Welcome to the real world, Millhouse. We're going to do great things together. Probably. Maybe. That we'll see. Daddy Mage. Mage Daddy. That skill list nearly gave me an aneurysm from pure excitement. 45 Spirit. 45. A unique spirit specialization called Tenacity. 9 standard spells plus a core ability that stacks damage buffs up to 500% and then nukes everything with shadow damage. In Hearthstone, this gnome was a joke. The meme card everyone dusted for crafting materials. In reality, he might be the strongest thing I own. And the best part, his stupid battlecry effect, already triggered harmlessly. Battlecries activate the instant you summon a minion. Since there were no enemies around, all enemy spells cost 0, effect fired into empty air and expired. The worst card effect in Hearthstone history just fizzled into nothing, like a bomb going off in an empty field. Loophole baby. Then the gnome talked. Where am I? And you? I see shock in your eyes. You're shocked that the great Millhouse Manastorm can speak? How dare you question whether Azeroth's greatest mage possesses intelligence? He was 1 foot 3 inches of pure ego. I loved it immediately. Greatest mage? Buddy, I can name like 15 mages better than you. Medivh, the last guardian. Egwin from the Council of Tirisful. Khadgar, who was Medivh's student. Queen Asherah of the ancient Night Elves. Kale, that's Sunstrider. Jaina Proudmoore. Every blue dragon ever born. Each name hit Millhouse like a physical punch. His wrinkly face was shaking. Steam was literally shooting from his nostrils. HMPH. I have my own strengths. Oh yeah? Prove it. Help me earn enough gold, and I'll summon those guys from card packs. Then you can fight them one-on-one. He deflated like a balloon with a hole in it. Well, about that. saved by the dinner bell. Little Lynn. Food's ready. Millhouse perked up instantly. My stomach demands sustenance. Unlike Tavern minions that I can unsummon anytime, pack cards are permanent. Millhouse exists in the real world full-time. So he needs to eat. Like a roommate. A very short, very loud roommate. I opened the door, and everyone stared at the 3-foot-tall gnome in the red and blue wizard robe. This is my friend. A powerful mage. Not powerful. The greatest. Most brilliant. Most unfathomably mighty Millhouse Manastorm. Mom heard, mage, and her eyes turned into dollar signs. In this world, mages are basically nobility. If warriors are the commoners of supernatural classes, mages are the aristocracy. 5,000 years ago during the Magic Empire era, mages were practically gods. Even now, post-collapse, a mage is still a mage. Respect is automatic. Mom practically shoved him into a chair with the biggest, most boot-licking smile I've ever seen on her face. A mage friend. Please, sit, sit. Dad just froze. His mustache was twitching, the only sign of internal panic. The man's strategy for social anxiety is, say nothing and hope for the best. Classic dad. Emily asked innocently, was it you who sent the golem outside, sir? Millhouse closed his eyes, sensed the golem, and scoffed. That piece of garbage? Please. That shoddy magical trinket couldn't possibly be the work of the great Millhouse. My wife Maleficent Manastorm is better at constructs than me, and even SHE would be insulted by that trash. I couldn't resist. Oh, you mean the Maleficent who chases you around with a wrench trying to kill you? She is a genius. Way stronger than you too. You insolent. What did you just? He was about to blow a gasket. If it weren't for the summoning contract preventing him from attacking me, he said he'd shadow bolt but into next week. Then crash. Thud. 2 screams outside. Those screams sounded familiar. I instantly summoned my Twilight Whelp and phased her into the void. Done so fast my parents didn't notice a dragon materializing and disappearing in their dining room. But Millhouse caught it immediately. Ugh. Disgusting. A Twilight dragon? That revolting void stench. Brings back memories. Terrible, awful memories, right? In Warcraft lore, Twilight dragons were basically war crimes on wings, and Millhouse once got trapped in a dimension full of void energy. Of course he'd recognize the smell. Of course he'd hate it. Shut up about the dragon. Something's happening outside. Those screams outside were getting more interesting by the second. 10 minutes earlier, while we were having a nice harvest festival dinner, 2 idiots were crouching in the bushes outside my house. Dio and his hired thug, a one-eyed rogue named Scott from the Viper Gang, were doing their elite reconnaissance. Scott's dark skin blended perfectly with the night. He flashed a white-toothed grin and pointed at my house. Dio shook his head. Too many people inside. Scott made a throat-slitting gesture. Translation: kill everyone except the target. Kill my family. Over 300 gold coins? Dio hesitated for approximately 3 seconds before agreeing. 2 Tier 1 fighters versus some farmers? Why worry? They crept toward my door like the world's worst ninjas. Lockpicks ready. Professional kidnappers at work. They completely forgot about the 2-story clay golem sitting right next to the front door. The golem's eyes lit up green. It turned its massive head and stared at them from point-blank range. HHH, Dio screamed like a child at a haunted house. The golem took that as an invitation to violence and swung a fist the size of a human head directly at both of them. Credit where it's due, Dio is an experienced adventurer. He activated his signature combat technique, defensive counter, raise sword, absorb impact, redirect force back. His bread-and-butter move. The thing that kept him alive for decades. The golem's magic runes glowed blue, doubled its power, and punched straight through his perfect block like it wasn't there. Dio went flying. Scott, the one-eyed rogue, took one look at this situation and bolted. Professional assessment. Nope. Then from inside, a screechy little voice rang out. Ooh, I see sparkle sparkle. A frostbolt screamed through the air and nailed Scott before he'd gotten 10 steps. Fast. Precise. Brutal. Wait, a mage? Why is there a mage? Scott's last rational thought before becoming a popsicle. Millhouse was showing OFF. Left hand, frostbolt. Right hand, fireball. Simultaneously. No chanting. No casting time. 2 completely opposite elemental schools fired at the same time, like he was dual-wielding magic guns. Fire go sizzle sizzle. His combat sound effects were absolutely unhinged, but his aim was surgical. Frostbolt froze Scott mid-escape. Fireball roasted Dio while the golem held him down. 2 Tier 1 fighters, neutralized in seconds by a 3-foot gnome in pajama robes. Nice work. I stepped outside, fist pumped, and summoned Asherah. Purple smoke. Black dress. Hard eyes. Master, you summoned me again. Less flirting, more tying. Bind these 2 cockroaches. As you command. Asherah glanced at Millhouse, and I could see genuine fear flash across her face. His spirit pressure was apparently comparable to her matriarch, the strongest succubus in existence. My new summon was terrifying other summons just by existing. She manifested her whip of desire and tied both men up like Christmas presents. Now convert them into desire slaves. Dio started screaming. Lynn, I'm sorry. I was following orders. Please don't do this. I'll tell you everything. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. Scott was already dead-eyed. Accepted his fate, just glaring at Dio with pure hatred. This is your fault, you absolute moron. Asherah raised her whip with the sultriest smile you've ever seen. Under normal circumstances, 2 men being approached by a gorgeous demon woman in a black dress might have certain reactions. But these 2 felt nothing except bone-deep terror. She went to work. 10 minutes of. We'll skip that part. Later, both men had little heart-shaped marks glowing in their pupils. Fully converted. Desire slaves. Permanently loyal to my summon, which means permanently loyal to me. My head was pounding, spirit nearly drained. And I noticed something annoying. The 2 spirit points I'd spent summoning Millhouse earlier still hadn't recovered. So my total available spirit was running on fumes. Need to fix that ASAP. But first, tell me everything. Dio sang like a canary. The Silverhand mercenary group had put a 300 gold bounty on me. They needed a summoner for some kind of ritual. Sounded extremely evil cultish. And since every other new summoner had powerful organizations backing them, they picked me. The farmer's kid with no connections. The easy target. Oh, so I'm a soft persimmon to you people? A pushover? 300 gold bounty though. I'm flattered. At least I'm an expensive soft persimmon. Silverhand mercenary group. I am memorizing that name. You want to kidnap me for some sketchy, divine ritual? I'm going to find out exactly what that ritual is, destroy it, and make you regret ever learning the word, summoner. But for now, I just gained 2 Tier 1 fighters as permanent mind-controlled servants. A warrior and a rogue. Not bad for a harvest festival evening. Time to empty their pockets. Every last copper coin. Happy holidays to me. I squeezed 5 gold coins in my hand and stared at Dio with genuine disgust. You've been an adventurer for 30 years, and this is your entire life savings. Well, master. You see, we adventurers follow the Romero spirit. Live for today, spend it all. Any quest could be your last. So why save money for a corpse to enjoy? Plus, I'm a lifelong bachelor, and I spend quite a bit on the lovely ladies of the evening. I rubbed my temples. He blew 30 years of income on booze and prostitutes. The Romero spirit is basically this world's god of hedonism. His whole religion is money, food, and women. And Dio is apparently a devout follower. As for the ladies of the evening part, look, in my past life, I was a married man. But in this life, I am an innocent 16-year-old boy who knows nothing about such things. Nothing at all. Moving on. I turned to One-Eye Scott. Your place. Let's go collect. Master, my money's in the gang's account. Meaning? 20 gold. Deposited with the Viper Gang. Withdrawal takes time. The Viper Gang. Notorious local criminals who bully ordinary people for a living. And they're sitting on piles of stolen cash. My brain filed this under future robbery target, priority medium. But first things first. My immediate enemies list. Priority 1. Third Prince Darahart, Emily's parents' murderer. Not ready yet. Priority 2. The Silverhand mercenary group, trying to kidnap me for some creepy ritual. The prince can wait. But the Silverhand? I wanted to punch them in the face tonight. Dio, you've met their Vice Captain Kelly. Honestly, who's stronger, her or this mage right here? Dio pointed at Millhouse without hesitation. The mage, obviously. Millhouse puffed up like a peacock. This little man has excellent taste. The great Millhouse is supreme. I slapped Dio across the face. No bootlicking. Tell me the truth. I've never seen Master Millhouse fight at full power. But his spiritual pressure is way more intense than Kelly's. And mages are a superior class anyway. Fair point. On paper, Millhouse's stats are insane. But his track record in Warcraft lore? Catastrophic. The man once charged up his ultimate move, 100 stacks of Unstoppable, and got interrupted by a random worm popping out of the ground. In my past life, I laughed for 10 minutes watching that cutscene. Now that he's my teammate, suddenly it's not funny anymore. If this gnome pulls some clown move during a critical fight, I'll have nobody to blame but myself. But no guts, no glory. Time for the plan. Dio, tie me up. What? His slave mark burned, and he froze in panic. You heard me. Tie me up. Kelly promised you 300 gold for delivering me, right? So deliver me. Walk me right into their camp. Except when we get there, I'll have Millhouse hiding nearby, and we'll blow their entire operation sky high from the inside. Instead of waiting for them to come kidnap me again, I'll walk into the lion's den wearing a disguise called Helpless Prisoner and flip the table when they least expect it. Dio and Scott tried to tie me, but their slave marks started burning their eyeballs. The enchantment literally prevented them from harming their master. They couldn't even touch the rope. Millhouse scoffed. Useless. He waved his hand, shaped arcane energy into a rope, and tied me up perfectly. When I tested it, the binding was genius. I could break free instantly whenever I wanted, but from the outside it looked completely inescapable. Millhouse, you beautiful gnome genius. Humph, obviously. I am, yes, the greatest, most brilliant mage in all of existence. I've heard it 100 times. Please be quiet. I dangled a motivational carrot instead. This could be the night your name starts spreading across this continent. A fresh reputation. A clean slate. No more being the joke of Azeroth. His eyes actually sparkled. Back in Warcraft, his reputation was a dumpster fire. The idea of reinventing himself in a new world where nobody knew about the worm incident? That hit different. The Silver Hand thinks they can put a bounty on me. They think I'm some helpless farm boy they can scoop up whenever they feel like it. I cracked my neck. Dio, deliver me to their camp. Tonight, the Silver Hand learns what happens when you mess with the wrong summoner. Nightfall. The Silver Hand camp was lit up like a construction site, because it literally was a construction site. These adventurers weren't just here for me. They were building a base camp near the new dungeon, Mist City. Hammering, sawing, hauling logs. Very industrious for a group of kidnappers. I was tied up outside the camp, watching all of this through wide eyes while my actual forces were invisible around me. Twilight Whelp, hidden in the void. Millhouse, standing right next to me in some kind of advanced psychological invisibility spell. Not magical cloaking, psychological. People's brains literally refused to notice him. He was standing in plain sight, and 0 human eyes registered his existence. That's not in your Hearthstone card description. I muttered. Mages, man. Always got an extra trick. Inside the camp, I later learned that Kelly was having a conversation with her protege, a 16-year-old kid named Gordon who'd awakened the hidden class, Shadow Dancer, the Silver Hand's precious little prodigy. And Gordon was not happy. Kelly, you're kidnapping someone? When I joined, you told me our motto was shield the good, punish the evil, stand on trust. Where is the trust in kidnapping? Kelly hit him with the smoothest corporate BS I've ever heard. We're not kidnapping. We're inviting him. Aggressively. His family can't afford summons anyway. We're actually helping him by giving him access to resources. We're just using unconventional methods. She even lied. Told Gordon I had no summon yet. Classic management. Lie to the idealistic new hire so he doesn't quit. Gordon wasn't buying it, but couldn't articulate why. Poor kid. His dad's a blacksmith, his mom's a farmer. Every time Kelly said bottom dwellers and short-sighted rats, it was basically insulting his family too. Then a runner came in. Ma'am? The short, ugly guy is here. He's got a tied-up teenager. Perfect. Send him in. The gates opened. Dio walked me inside, playing his role perfectly. His slave mark ensured total obedience. He wouldn't sneeze without my permission. The camp was surrounded by massive fir trees from the mist forest, creating a natural wall. Isolated. Quiet. No witnesses. Perfect for what I had planned. We reached the biggest tent. Standing at the entrance was Kelly herself. Tall, sharp features, wearing a loose white robe that was doing its absolute best to contain what was clearly a very generous figure underneath. like a snowman built by someone who'd never seen a snowman, but had very specific ideas about proportions. Good efficiency, Dio. She didn't even look at him. Her eyes were locked on me. And here's where 20 charisma did something I did not expect. Being tied up with ropes, hair messy, slightly roughed up. Apparently that triggered some kind of damaged beauty aesthetic. Kelly's cold expression softened. I could literally see a protective instinct activate behind her eyes. She wanted to take care of me, pamper me. Lady, you literally ordered my kidnapping yesterday. Make up your mind. Gordon was standing nearby, and he was also staring at me with his mouth open. The kid had never seen a face this pretty on a man. I could practically see him mentally updating his reasons to oppose Kelly list with item 47. She tied up the most beautiful person I've ever seen. My charisma was doing more diplomacy work than my entire battle plan. Vice Captain, I delivered. Now pay up, Dio said, extending his hand. Kelly's warmth evaporated instantly. What money? Stay a while, Dio. Enjoy our hospitality. No, money first. Person second. Haha. Kelly's face twisted with pure contempt. Her tier 4 aura blasted out, crushing down on Dio like a hydraulic press. The target is already in my camp. The money is also in my camp. But you think you deserve any of it? Look at that ugly face. You think someone like you gets paid? She was stiffing him. Promised 300 gold, delivering 0. Classic criminal organization move. Hire the contractor. Take the product, refuse to pay. Dio's expression went dark. Even as my slave, his memories and thoughts were fully intact. He knew he was being scammed. The irony of being double-crossed by the same people he'd tried to sell me to? Absolutely poetic. But what Kelly didn't know was that Dio's angry face wasn't because he cared about the money anymore. It was because his real master was the helpless kid in ropes, standing 5 feet away, with an invisible legendary archmage loaded and ready to fire. Showtime was about to begin. Dio was seething inside. Kelly promised 300 gold, handed him 10, and told him to get lost. He'd spent 65 gold hiring Scott, and was getting paid 10. That's negative 55 gold for this job. The man just paid money to get scammed. But Dio's anger wasn't for himself anymore. He was mentally cheerleading. Just wait until Master Lin unleashes that hidden mage on you, you witch. Meanwhile, Gordon, the little shadow dancer prodigy, was having a full moral crisis in real time. Kelly, you promised him 300 gold. If you weren't going to pay, you shouldn't have promised. This 16-year-old was out here delivering ethics lectures to a tier 4 vice captain. His class is literally shadow dancer, an assassin type, but his personality was more paladin of absolute justice. Somewhere a holy knight was missing their calling. Kelly tried damage control. Come on, Gordon. Is catching one level 0 adventurer really worth 300 gold? 1 coin for 1 service, right? Fair pricing. The girl was trying to use economics to justify breaking her word. Business school villainy. After Gordon's guilt tripping, Kelly reluctantly gave Dio 10 coins as a first installment, with vague promises about the remaining 290. Dio almost laughed out loud. 10 gold. She was paying him less than he paid Scott. If he hadn't already been my slave, the Viper gang would have murdered him over the unpaid debt. Kelly basically signed his death warrant and called it a down payment. Dio left the tent on my signal, playing his part perfectly. Then Kelly turned to me and tried to touch my chin with her finger, like I'm some kind of pet. I dodged. She laughed. Don't be nervous, Lot Lin. We're a certified gold rank adventurer group. We invited you here using some unconventional methods, but we'd never hurt you. Her voice was gentle. Her eyes were not. They were scanning me up and down like I was a buffet menu. 20 charisma was working overtime again, but in the wrong direction. This woman was looking at me like a wolf looks at a particularly delicious-looking lamb. She literally swallowed saliva. Didn't even try to hide it. I've been handsome in this world for 16 years. I know that look. I hate that look. Gordon saw the whole thing, and his disgust levels went through the ceiling. Poor kid was questioning every life decision that led him to this organization. I played scared. This is kidnapping. I'll never agree. Never. Trembling voice. Wide eyes. The full, frightened deer, performance. Oscar-worthy. Kelly was eating it up. In her eyes, I was a helpless little fawn. She wanted to take care of me so bad. Lady, you literally paid someone to abduct me 6 hours ago. Your maternal instincts are extremely confused. She wanted to postpone the details until tomorrow and suggested we explore the great harmony of life tonight. I understood exactly what she meant, and I needed to accelerate this operation before things got weird. No, tell me what you want. Right now, she pulled out a contract on fancy parchment. There was this creepy symbol, a triangle with an evil eye inside it. Bad vibes immediately. The contract looked reasonable at first. Silver Hand sponsors my summoning career. I work for them in return, equal status with other members, promotions based on merit. Almost had me fooled. Then the last clause. The summoner must enter the spirit realm daily and recite content designated by the guild leader. What does this mean? Go to the spirit realm and read something. Kelly pulled out a sheet of paper covered in dense text and handed it over like it was homework. Just read this out loud in the spirit realm every morning and evening. Easy. I looked at the paper. 3 characters at the top. My blood froze. The White Lotus Sutra. Written in Chinese. Not this world's language. Not common. Not Elvish. Not any fantasy script. Chinese. Mandarin. Hanzi. My brain exploded. 1,000 thoughts collided in 1 second. Cold sweat soaked through my shirt instantly. Someone from Earth wrote this. Someone who speaks Chinese created this document in a fantasy world. There is, or was, another transmigrator, and they wrote what appeared to be some kind of cult scripture designed to be chanted in the spirit realm by a summoner. The triangle with evil eye symbol. The divine ritual that requires a summoner. A Chinese scripture to be read in the spirit realm twice daily. This wasn't a mercenary recruitment contract. This was a cult. Can't read it? No worries. I have a phonetic pronunciation guide version too. Kelly smiled warmly, completely oblivious to the fact that I could read every single character perfectly. I smiled back, equally warm, equally fake. Inside, full panic mode, full analysis mode, full, I need to burn this entire organization to the ground tonight mode. My brain was melting. Chinese characters. On a fantasy world document. In a kidnapper's tent. Chinese. The language I spoke for my entire previous life. A million questions exploded simultaneously. Did they know I'm a transmigrator? Is this a test? Are there other transmigrators? Is this world secretly connected to Earth? Every possibility was more terrifying than the last. My hands were shaking as I opened the booklet. Page 1. A beautiful Eastern woman in white robes, sitting cross-legged on a lotus throne with her hands in some Buddhist mudra position. Underneath, in perfectly written Chinese characters, Great Merciful Lotus-born Bodhisattva. I've never heard of any Bodhisattva named Lotus-born. Not from any Buddhist tradition I know. And something about this image felt wrong. Not peaceful. Not holy. More like someone wearing holiness as a costume. Then, while I was reading, the illustration's face moved. Her mouth curled into a smile. On a printed page. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. The actual text was classic cult recruitment material dressed up in ancient Chinese prose. The world is suffering. The nobles are evil. The people cry out. But fear not. The great and merciful lotus-born Bodhisattva shall save everyone. Standard brainwashing 101. Identify pain. Blame the powerful, present savior figure. I read propaganda like this in history class. You can read this? Kelly asked, staring at me with weird intensity. No, I just think the characters look beautiful. Can't understand a word. I lied with the confidence of a man whose life depends on it. She bought it and switched to business mode. Signed the contract. It has the seal of the God of justice. Break it, and you get divine punishment. And remember, you're just a farmer's kid. Don't think awakening a fancy class makes you special. Cool speech. I refuse. I literally quoted Asherah's rejection line from when she turned me down. I've been recycling that phrase as a running joke with her ever since she became my summon. Now I got to use it in combat. You refuse? Did I stutter? Fuse. Kelly's eyes went predator mode. You little broke nobody. I'll give you one more chance. Refuse again, and I'll carve up that pretty face. Then drag your parents here and torture them to death in front of you. You don't even have the right to kill yourself. You are White Silver Hand property. Outside the tent, Gordon was eavesdropping. Whatever faith he had left in this organization died right there. I almost laughed in her face. Are you stupid? I said no. And you want to kill my parents? Heh. I was going to make this quick, but you just upgraded yourself from enemy to dead woman walking. Before she could blink, I raised my hand and summoned. Glacial Shard. Tiny ice elemental. 2-to-1 stats. Absolutely pathetic body. But its battle cry? Freeze one enemy. Concept level ability. Cannot be dodged. Cannot be blocked. Cannot be resisted. Doesn't matter if you're an ancient god, a titan, or a cosmic dragon. If Glacial Shard targets you, you get frozen. Kelly's entire body erupted in silver light, her night aura blazing at full power, trying to resist. Didn't matter at all. Her legs locked in ice, completely immobilized. A Tier 4 Silver Knight, frozen solid by a 2-to-1 ice cube with googly eyes. This is the power of Hearthstone mechanics. It's not about stats. It's about game code. And game code doesn't care about your rank. Millhouse. Stop standing there. Hit her. The invisible gnome materialized, cackling. Unstoppable. Shadow Bolt. Frost Bolt. He summoned an energy crystal, 5% damage buff to all spells in the area. Then fired Shadow Bolt with his right hand and Frost Bolt with his left simultaneously, and the two spells collided in midair. Boom. Spectacular explosion. Dazzling lights. Incredible special effects. Hit absolutely nobody. Millhouse. What the hell? He scratched his head sheepishly. The shadow and ice energies interfered with each other because he launched them at slightly wrong angles. More damage on impact if they'd hit, sure. But they didn't hit. 0 out of 10 for accuracy. I knew this would happen. The worm incident all over again. Different world, same clown energy. Red-faced and desperate to recover his dignity, Millhouse went simple this time. 2 hands. 1 giant shadow bolt. Straight line. No tricks. Splat. Direct hit. Shadow energy flooded into Kelly's body like poison. Dark corruption tearing through flesh and mind simultaneously. She was frozen, unarmored, and being eaten alive by shadow magic. A Tier 4 adventurer, reduced to a screaming mess in seconds. Stop. I'm the vice captain of the Silver Hand. You can't kill me. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please spare me. She was alternating between threatening and begging every other sentence. Real dignified. Then I hit a problem. My spirit was at 0. Summoning Millhouse and Glacial Shard had permanently occupied all my available spirit. I couldn't summon Asherah to convert Kelly into a desire slave. Annoying. Very annoying. I'd have to do this the old-fashioned way. Kelly, where's all the money and valuables in this camp? Millhouse charged another shadow bolt and held it 2 centimeters from her forehead. She sang like a bird. Every coin, every treasure, every stash, location, quantity, access method. Complete inventory. Please, mighty mage. Spare me. I'll serve you. I'll be your slave, she was begging Millhouse. Completely ignoring me. In her mind, the powerful wizard had to be the boss. A level 0 summoner couldn't possibly be giving orders to a mage this strong. Millhouse yawned. Boring fight. And no thanks on the slave offer. My wife would literally murder me. Ask him. He pointed at me. He's the real boss. Kelly's brain short-circuited. The broke farmer kid she'd kidnapped. Commands this archmage-level gnome? The look on her face was worth every second of this operation. Kelly was on the ground, bleeding, frozen, and staring at me like she'd just discovered her pet kitten was actually a tiger. She crawled to me and smashed her forehead into the floor. 3 times. Bang, bang, bang. The tent flaps were open. Every Silver Hand adventurer in camp was watching their almighty vice captain, Silver Flash, Kelly, groveling at the feet of the broke farmer kid she'd kidnapped 2 hours ago. Jaws. On. The. Floor. Am I hallucinating? Is that our vice captain? Why is she so injured? Nobody dared step forward. Millhouse was standing there radiating enough spiritual pressure to make the entire camp collectively reconsider their life choices. I was wrong. I shouldn't have kidnapped you. I shouldn't have forced the contract. Please spare me. I grabbed her chin, tilted her face up, and smiled. Not a nice smile. The kind of smile that makes people check their locks at night. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you're about to die. And didn't you just threaten to torture my parents to death in front of me? I was just talking. I didn't mean it. It was just trash talk. Funny how I'll murder your family becomes just trash talk when the power dynamic flips. One brave soul, a Tier 2 guardian knight, stepped forward to object. Sir, you could just kill her. Why this cruelty? And Kelly is from the Consodi family. Even with a powerful mage, you can't withstand there. Who kidnapped who first? I was home. eating dinner, on a holiday, and your organization dragged me here. She threatened my parents. So I'm the villain. Before the knight could respond, Millhouse casually flicked a flame strike. No chanting, no wind-up. Instant cast. The Tier 2 Guardian Knight, a class literally built around defense, evaporated into chunks. One spell, gone. Like a candle in a hurricane. The entire camp went silent. 200 adventurers simultaneously decided that speaking was overrated. Instant flame strike? What is that? Terror. Pure, uncut terror in every face. I had Kelly tied up and strung on a fir tree at the edge of camp. Millhouse's shadow bolt was still embedded in her body, slowly corroding her from the inside. By morning, the damage would be fatal. No healer could save her. She begged me to just kill her instead. Quick and clean. But I wasn't feeling merciful. Not after the kidnapping. Not after the threats against my parents. Not after seeing that cult contract. Then, the best part of the entire night. Gordon stepped forward. This 16-year-old baby-faced shadow dancer, who'd been silently questioning everything about his organization all day, walked right up to the scene with zero fear on his face. A real man acts like this. No fear of power. Strike back when wronged. He turned to the crowd. Kelly kidnapped an innocent person, broke her promises, threatened to murder civilians. She's scum. And all of you, watching your vice captain get destroyed and doing nothing? Cowards. The Silver Hand has no morals. No unity. Your guild leader fed me pretty words and lies. As of right now, I, Gordon, am officially quitting the Silver Hand. The adventurers exchanged nervous glances. Apparently Gordon had some mysterious background that nobody dared challenge. Then he turned to me with a respectful nod and volunteered to handle the tree tying personally. The knots he used were creative. Very creative. I had questions about where a 16-year-old learned bondage techniques this advanced, but decided some mysteries are better left unsolved. Kelly would be displayed on that tree until morning. By then, the Shadow Bolt's corruption would finish the job. Every adventurer in camp would see her. Every early rising townsperson would see her. Was it harsh? Yes. Was it proportional to kidnapping me, threatening to carve my face off, and promising to murder my parents? I'd say it was generous. Why did I go this far instead of a quiet assassination? 2 reasons. First, Millhouse. This gnome one-shot a Tier 4 fighter and vaporized a Tier 2 tank without blinking. With power like that, why would I hide? I want people to know what happens when you come after me. Second, the White Lotus Sutra. Chinese text. Cult scripture. Another transmigrator's fingerprints. The Silver Hand is connected to something much bigger, and I just kicked the hornet's nest on purpose. Whatever's hiding behind this organization, I wanted to come find me. Because next time, I'll be ready. Meanwhile, in a scene I pieced together later, Damien was lying on a couch in his family's ridiculously fancy mansion in Noah Capital, looking like a depressed golden retriever who'd been told, no walkies, forever. His dad had crushed his adventure dreams. No more Mist Mountains. No more Senior Raven. No more dragons. Just inheriting a billion-gold trading empire. The horror. Then his dad called him to the study. Mist City opens next month. You can go. Damien nearly broke his own neck doing a double take. Dad, are you possessed by a demon? Did you get a gender reassignment? But you must reach Tier 1 first. Hit Tier 1, and I'll personally take you to Maple Leaf Town. Turns out something huge was happening across the continent. Brand new job classes were appearing out of thin air. Taoist, monk, martial artist, all popping up on the eastern edge of the continent. In this world, every job class derives power from a specific god. New classes appearing means new gods just showed up. Unannounced. No warning. Like party crashers at a cosmic dinner. And new gods means one thing. A god war might be starting. Greenwood looked exhausted. It could start tomorrow or in 50 years. But the prelude has already begun. In chaotic times, only personal strength matters. That's why I'm letting you train. Damien processed approximately 0% of the geopolitical implications and skipped straight to new classes? I want to fight them. Then he bounced off to practice sword fighting like a caffeinated golden retriever who'd just been told, walkies forever, god wars, new deities, continental upheaval. And my rich sidekick's only takeaway was, cool, new sparring partners, never changed Damien. Back in Maple Leaf Town, I was famous. Infamously famous. The wrong kind of famous. Emily could barely contain herself. Lynn, the whole town is talking about you. They're calling you a heartless demon who doesn't appreciate beautiful women. She was trying to sound concerned, but she was laughing. I could see it, a spark of possessive glee in those green eyes. He humiliated a gorgeous, powerful, rich woman in public. He doesn't care about other women. She hired someone to kidnap me. She threatened to murder my parents in front of me. Honestly, I went easy on her. Emily remembered seeing Kelly's corroded corpse hanging from that fir tree outside the forest. She shivered slightly, then nodded firmly. You did the right thing, Lynn. The story had spread across all of Maple Leaf Town overnight. The Starfruit Tavern was buzzing. Did you see Kelly's body on that tree? Silver Flash Kelly, the Ice Queen, on her knees begging a level 0 summoner. I would have paid to witness that. Is this Lynn kid even a real man? A beauty like that kneeling before me, and I would have. Adventurers. Every conversation, women, money, booze. The cycle never breaks regardless of what world you're in. My public humiliation of Kelly was generating more gossip than Millhouse's terrifying combat display. A gnome vaporizing a tier 2 knight? Scary but forgettable. A pretty boy making a gorgeous vice captain grovel? That's dinner conversation for weeks. She deserved it though. Big fancy vice captain can't even negotiate properly, resorts to kidnapping, and gets clapped by the kidnapping victim. Classic. True, but who'd expect a nobody summoner to have a mega powerful mage backing him? Then some weasel-faced guy with a thin mustache, nicknamed Rat Jack, jumped up on a table. Boys, I've got insider info on this Lynn kid. Want to hear it? Spill it. Rat. He wiggled his fingers for payment. A bald muscle man tossed him 5 copper coins. Rat Jack pocketed the coins, grinned his rattiest grin, and declared with supreme confidence, I can tell you for certain. This Lynn guy? He's a kept man. What now? Somewhere in town. I sneezed violently and had no idea why. Who is spreading these lies? I was holding the morning newspaper, the Maple Leaf Daily, and my blood pressure was reaching numbers that shouldn't exist. The headline, the actual, printed, distributed to the entire town headline read, shocking. The man behind the powerful mage. Their secret relationship revealed? The article went something like, why would a powerful mage favor a nobody farmer boy? Why would this boy show zero mercy to a gorgeous woman like Kelly? The truth is clear. Lot Lynn is the mage's lover. They are romantically involved. I nearly coughed up a lung. This is slander. Pure fabrication. What editor wrote this? I will physically unscrew his head. Millhouse was equally livid. The great Millhouse has been defiled. These insects ignore my godlike power and focus on gossip. Sacrilege. For once, we agreed on something. I was famous now, but the way I was famous made me want to crawl into a hole and never emerge. Every adventurer earns nicknames based on their deeds. Dio has Dragon's Dong. Scott has One Eye. A good nickname means you've made it. I now had multiple nicknames. Here's the damage report. The Clothes Ripper, the Beauty Abuser, the Mage's Pretty Boy, the Jade-Faced Thug. Every single one was terrible. Especially the Mage's Pretty Boy. I wanted to find whoever coined that and introduce them to Millhouse's Flamestrike personally. The one decent nickname, Ice Splitter, earned for freezing a tier 4 knight with Glacial Shard. At least someone recognized actual combat achievement. Millhouse's newspaper section was much more respectable. Millhouse. Nickname, Manastorm. Class, Mage. Level, Unknown, estimated tier 6. Achievements, 1 Shadow Bolt crippled a tier 4 Silver Knight. 1 Flame Strike vaporized a tier 2 Guardian Knight. Race, Gnome. Assessment, extremely powerful. Appeared from nowhere. Very cautious, despite overwhelming power. Chose stealth and ambush tactics. Extremely dangerous. Very cautious, and chose stealth. They think Millhouse is some kind of calculating assassin mage who strategically picked the optimal moment to strike. In reality, he was just standing there invisible because I told him to. But sure, let's go with tactical genius. My newspaper section was less flattering. Lynn. Nickname, Ice Splitter Summoner. Class, Summoner. Level, 0, Adventurer for less than 1 month. Summon, Ice Elemental. Achievements, controlled a tier 4 knight, and publicly humiliated her to death. Assessment, has some talent, but his real claim to fame is living with the Archmage Millhouse. His real claim to fame is living with the Archmage. They literally ranked my roommate situation above my combat skills. I can't win. Meanwhile, and I learned about this later, things were moving in the Griffin Kingdom capital. The Kinsoti family, Kelly's people, one of the kingdom's founding noble families, commanders of the Eagle Knight Order, big deal aristocrats. Their patriarch, Kinsoti Dillon, was furious, not just about Kelly's death, about the public humiliation. Being killed quietly is an inconvenience. Being killed naked on a tree in front of 200 witnesses? That's an insult to the entire bloodline. Who did this? The summoner is a nobody, sir. Farmer parents. No noble blood going back 3 generations. But the mage called Millhouse. Zero information. No history. No records. Like he appeared out of thin air. Impossible. A tier 6 mage leaves a no trace. Get me the astrologer mayor. Now. Minutes later, an old man in blue-black robes carrying a gold-trimmed spell book arrived at the estate. Astrologer mayor. Apparently someone who could divine information through crystal ball scrying. I need you to divine everything about a mage named Millhouse. Very well. The crystal ball floated out, strange incantations began, and the divination started. So let me get this straight. I now have a noble family wanting revenge, an astrologer trying to scry my gnome's identity, a cult organization I just exposed, tabloid newspapers calling me a kept man, and approximately 14 terrible nicknames. All I wanted was to pick flowers and earn tavern coins. This world will not let me be boring. Back at the Kinsoti estate, something I found out about much later, the divination went spectacularly wrong. The astrologer mayor activated his crystal ball, chanted his incantation, and instead of getting intel on Millhouse, the crystal ball exploded. But not before broadcasting a screechy, arrogant voice. You mortals cannot comprehend the greatness of Millhouse. Aha! Inside the shattering crystal, a vision appeared, a small figure in red and blue robes standing on the void itself, hands behind his back, while an entire galaxy of stars collapsed and orbited around him like he was the center of the universe. Then silence. Crystal shards on the floor. Nobody moving. The astrologer mayor didn't say a word, didn't collect his fee, just turned around and left. A professional fortune teller walked away from money rather than get involved with whatever Millhouse is. Patriarch Dillon was left trembling. Who? Who is that thing? Good question, old man. The answer is, a gnome who once got interrupted by a worm. But you don't need to know that part. Meanwhile, I was happily counting stolen money like a dragon sitting on its hoard. 765 gold coins. Plus Kelly's enchanted silver armor set and greatsword. Easily worth another 1,000 gold. My card pack budget was secured. Multiple weeks of tavern coins covered. I went from, how do I earn 505 gold, to, I have almost 2,000 gold in one violent evening. Crime does pay, apparently. At least when the criminals started it first. But the real treasure was the White Lotus Sutra. I'd read it several times now. Definitely sketchy. The final passage was this bizarre mix of Chinese folk religion and Christianity. It literally mentioned God, as in the Abrahamic capital G God, mixed with Buddhist-sounding salvation rhetoric. This thing would have been classified as cult material back on Earth too. 100% certified heretical nonsense. How did a Chinese cult scripture end up in a fantasy world? Is there really another transmigrator? Is this God actually real here? So many questions. Zero answers. To get more information, I need to find the Silver Hand's actual guild leader. But that's a long-term project. My immediate crisis, spirit points. Still at 0 out of 3. Millhouse and Glacial Shard were permanently occupying my spirit like squatters in an apartment. I couldn't summon Asherah, couldn't use new cards, couldn't do anything magical. My theory? Like Hearthstone's mana crystals, my spirit might only reset each round, meaning next week's tavern visit. Or worse, summon pack cards permanently eat spirit capacity. Either way, 3 points is pathetic and I need more yesterday. Solution: learn a meditation technique. Every caster class uses them to grow spirit. The cheapest one at the guild exchange costs 250 adventure points. I had not 250 adventure points. Not even close. Back to grinding quests. No rest for the broke. At the Adventurers Guild, the branch master, a wiry old man named Rushu with white streaked hair and a gnarly scar across one eye, was having a bad day. He'd received a letter stamped with a purple violet, the symbol of the Violet Academy, the Griffin Kingdom's one and only mage school. 90% of the kingdom's mages graduated from there. It's basically Hogwarts, but with more political corruption. The academy's headmaster wanted to send a batch of mage apprentices to Maple Leaf Town for a one-week combat internship near the Mist Forest. Russia was supposed to arrange adventurer escorts. That old Hag Kohler. Always dumping problems on me. Doesn't she know Mist City is about to open? If one of her precious students gets eaten by a goblin, is that MY fault or hers? He was cursing, but already doing the paperwork. Can't refuse an old friend. Then he hit a special note at the bottom. One student requires extra attention. He opened the file. Orixia. Class. Berserker. How did a berserker get into a mage school? Then the next line. Race. Half-dragon. Oh, well, that explains it. Every dragon is a natural spellcaster. Even half-dragons inherit magical talent. So a half-dragon berserker in a mage academy was technically qualified, just violently unconventional. The headmaster's note added, "This kid is a bit wild. Find someone strong enough to handle her." Russia ran through every adventurer group in town and rejected them all. Too soft, too vulgar, too weak. 5 minutes later, a massive quest appeared on the guild's mission board. Request from Violet Academy requirements. Silver rank adventurer or bronze rank party details. Escort and mentor mage apprentices during a one-week combat internship. Serve as instructors. Protect their safety. Full briefing upon the academy's arrival. A half-dragon berserker from a mage school who needs a babysitter? I had a feeling this quest was about to find its way to me whether I wanted it or not. Next day, Adventurers Guild. Mission, get adventure points. By meditation manual, stop having the spirit capacity of a AA battery. I brought Millhouse and my 2 mind slaves, pushing through crowds that were 3 times bigger than usual. Everyone and their grandma was flooding into Maple Leaf Town because of the upcoming Mist City dungeon. The town was turning into a fantasy gold rush. People were whispering and pointing at me as I walked through. That's the guy. The mage's pretty boy. The clothes ripper. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear any of that. First stop, the bounty board. These weren't regular quests. These were wanted posters for dangerous monsters with body counts. Kill 1, get massive gold and adventure points. One caught my eye. Werewolf, ghost howl, tier 4 monster. Hunts adventurers at night in the Mist Forest. At least 30 confirmed kills. Under a full moon, approaches tier 5. Bounty, 683 gold / 500 adventure points. 500 points would let me buy the meditation manual and reach silver rank. And with Millhouse, a tier 4 werewolf was basically a tutorial enemy. If we run into this guy, we're collecting that bounty. Then I checked the regular quest board and my eyeballs nearly fell out. Violet Academy internship. Escort and mentor mage apprentices. Duration, 1 week. Reward, 100 gold per day, 200 adventure points. 700 gold for a week of babysitting magic students, plus 200 points. The Violet Academy, the kingdom's only mage school, alma mater of 90% of all mages, was funding this out of pocket. Mage money hits different. I want this quest. The receptionist didn't even blink. Silver rank adventurer or bronze rank adventurer team required. I needed 500 points for silver rank. By the time I earned those, the quest would be over. So the only option was start my own adventurer team. My brain immediately started assembling the roster. Me, Millhouse, Dio, Mindslave 1, Scott, Mindslave 2. That's 4. And in the future, every legendary I pull from card packs joins the team. Imagine Varian Wren and Garrosh Hellscream on the same squad. The content would be unreal. I already had the perfect name, the Hearthstone Legends. I marched to Pierre's counter. The glasses-wearing bureaucrat greeted me with his signature sly smile. "Mr. Lin, I heard about your exploits. Famous already. I knew I wasn't wrong about you." He bowed deeply to Millhouse, because in this world, mages get automatic respect regardless of height. I want to create an adventurer team. Requirements: 100 gold registration fee. Minimum 5 members with awakened classes. Then headquarters evaluates and assigns a rank. 5 members. I had 4. Can we do 4? That's headquarters rules. Maybe find 1 more person. Where was I supposed to find a 5th member on short notice? I could join. A familiar young voice from behind me. I turned around and grinned. Well. If it isn't the bondage master himself. Gordon. His baby face went crimson. What kind of nickname is that? You don't know? After you tied Kelly up in that creative configuration, in front of 200 witnesses, with expert-level technique. Everyone's calling you bondage master now. Where did you even learn that? I was laughing so hard because finally someone else had a nickname as terrible as mine. So, you want in? He nodded seriously. Yes, but I need to ask you something first. What is your team's philosophy? Your code of conduct? This matters more to me than anything. The silver hand had burned him with fake ideals. He wasn't falling for pretty words again. I thought carefully. This was important, because the Hearthstone legends wouldn't just be normal adventurers. Eventually, this team would include legendary heroes from Warcraft, Alliance, and Horde, paladins and warlocks, humans and orcs, characters with completely different cultures, beliefs, and moral codes. I couldn't write a rule that fit all of them. No single creed would work for Jaina Proudmoore and Sylvanas Windrunner. We don't have a code, just one rule. Do what you believe is right, and say what you believe is true. The only restriction? Team members can't hurt each other, even when they disagree. No forced loyalty. No blind obedience. No fake ideals painted on a wall. Just individuals choosing to act with their own conscience. It was my way of respecting the legends I'd someday summon from those card packs. These weren't NPCs. They were characters I'd loved for years in my past life. I wouldn't force them to be something they're not. Gordon's eyes went wide. Then he smiled, the first real smile I'd seen from him. I'm in. The Hearthstone Legends. Founding members. 1 broke summoner, 1 meme gnome wizard, 1 tiny shadow dancer with a bondage reputation, and 2 mind-controlled criminals. We were going to be the weirdest adventurer team this world had ever seen. And I wouldn't have it any other way. My words hit Gordon harder than I expected. The kid had spent his whole life following other people's rules, and when those rules turned out to be lies, he didn't know who he was anymore. I've always asked what everyone else believes. But what do I believe? I patted his shoulder. Dude, you're 16. Being confused is literally your job right now. You'll figure it out. He stared at me with those earnest puppy eyes, nodded firmly, and said, I'm Ian, Hearthstone Legends founding roster, complete. Me, level 0 summoner, Team Brain. Millhouse, legendary gnome archmage, Team Nuke. Dio, Mindslave Warrior, Team Punching Bag. Scott, Mindslave Rogue, Team Second Punching Bag. And Gordon, Shadow Dancer Prodigy with a bondage reputation, Team Wildcard. Pierre took the paperwork upstairs for express evaluation. The man was very motivated, partially because he believed in me, and partially because sucking up to a high-level mage is career advancement 101. Upstairs, Guild Branch President Rushu was having a terrible day. He'd been flipping through adventurer team files for hours trying to find someone qualified to babysit the Violet Academy students. Specifically one problem child named Orixia, a half-red dragon berserker attending a mage school. Half-dragon, berserker, in a magic academy. With a note from the headmaster saying, she's a bit wild, find someone strong to handle her. A bit wild is academic speak for, will absolutely destroy everything if unsupervised. Pierre knocked. President, new team application. Very special. Please look. You took bribes again, didn't you? I'm busy. No bribes this time. I swear. Rushu snatched the paper and started reading aloud with maximum contempt. Hearthstone Legends. What kind of garbage name is that? Excuse me. That name is perfect. Team leader, Lin. Level 0? Are you kidding me? A summoner, though. Slightly interesting. Member, Dio. Tier 1 warrior. Trash. Scott. Tier 1 rogue. Also trash. Look, he's not wrong. But those are MY trash. Show some respect. Gordon. Level 0 shadow dancer. Ooh, now that's interesting. Millhouse. Mage. Level unknown. Estimated tier 6+. His voice cracked on that last part. A high-tier mage on a team, led by a level 0 summoner? His brain couldn't process it. Pierre filled him in. The ice elemental that froze a tier 4 knight. The shadow bolt that killed Kelly. The instant flame strike that vaporized a guardian knight. Pierre was too scared to even ask Millhouse to do a proper power assessment test. Rushu's breathing got heavy. He'd been searching all day for a team strong enough to handle a half-dragon berserker girl, and one just walked through his front door wrapped in a bow. Are they still here? Bring them in. Now. Pierre grinned. Mission accomplished. 5 minutes later, I was standing in the president's office. Nice view. You could see all of Maple Leaf Town from up here. The man behind the desk looked scary. Wiry build, white-streaked hair, a horrific scar cutting across his left eye. The pressure rolling off this guy was equal to Gus, the sword maniac who made the third prince his personal footstool. Hello, President. Young talent. Welcome. I'm Rushu, class, gladiator, president of this branch, gladiator. I'd read about that class. Strongest 1v1 fighter in existence. Only loses to heroes, God's chosen, and prepared mages. This old man was a certified monster hiding behind a desk. Millhouse immediately jumped on top of Rush's desk to look taller. Not bad, old man. Though you're still far beneath the great Millhouse, any normal person would have been offended. Rushu just laughed. He could feel Millhouse's spiritual pressure and knew the gnome wasn't bluffing. Your team registration will be processed immediately. No worries there, but the real reason I called you in. The Violet Academy is sending students here for combat internships. I'd like your team to serve as their mentors. Very generous compensation. I'd been planning to grab this quest anyway. But the way this old gladiator personally summoned us, buttered us up, and made it sound casual, something smelled fishy. My eyes narrowed. What's the catch, old man? There's always a catch. I smelled a trap immediately. Why would a guild president personally meet a brand new team just to offer a quest? This old gladiator was buttering us up like a Thanksgiving turkey. I flashed my most innocent smile. 8 perfectly white teeth. Oh, President Rushu, we just formed our team. Maybe we should do some bonding exercises first. He panicked. Actually panicked. A man who could probably bench press a building looked nervous talking to me. Bonding exercises? Teaching IS bonding. Look, I'll be straight with you. Most of the students are fine. But there's one who's a bit of a handful. I've been searching for the right team all day. A handful. In academic speak, that means we'll set your life on fire and laugh. We're not really troublemaker people, so 200 gold per day? And 500 adventure points. My refusal died mid-sentence. 1,400 gold for a week. 500 points. Enough for a better meditation manual than the basic one. My spirit stat was literally at 0. Every second without a meditation technique was torture. Well, President, you know I've been a summoner for less than a month. I don't even have a meditation technique yet. If maybe you could. Rusha glanced at Millhouse like, you have a mega mage right there. Just ask him, but didn't say it. Deal. Accept the special student mission, and I'll give you a meditation manual right now. From my personal collection, right now. No waiting, no grinding. Just, here's your meditation book. I looked at my team, specifically Gordon, since he was the only one whose opinion wasn't pre-programmed by a slave mark. Everyone good, and no problem. All 4 voices in unison. We accept. Rushu exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for 3 days. Then Pierre appeared with our team evaluation results. Silver rank. Starting rating. Entirely because Millhouse's power level broke the grading curve so hard that our 3 level 0 members and 2 tier 1 scrubs averaged out to silver. 1 gnome carrying 4 humans. Classic carry game. The moment we registered, my status panel updated. A new section appeared at the bottom. Team. Hearthstone Legends. Click for details. I clicked immediately and discovered something incredible. I could see every team member's full stats and their loyalty rating. Dio's panel was straightforward. Tier 1 warrior. Strength 7. Constitution 5. Loyalty 100. Locked by desire slave mark. 3 combat skills. Nothing special. Then I opened Gordon's panel. My jaw detached from my face. Gordon Job 1. Shadow Dancer. Spirit Agility Dual Specialty. Job 2. Corpse Collector. Strength Constitution Dual Specialty. Dual. Class. For specialties. In this entire world, the only beings with 4 specialty attributes are the legendary heroes. The world's chosen class. And this baby-faced 16-year-old with curly brown hair has the same stat architecture? Loyalty, 75. Approval, higher than expected for someone I've known for 2 days. The kid genuinely respects me. Strength, 5. Constitution, 4. Agility, 5. Spirit, 4. Charisma, 4. Total stats, 22. Dio, a Tier 1 veteran adventurer, has a total of 17. This untrained teenager crushes a career warrior in raw numbers. This is why geniuses can fight above their weight class. His shadow dancer skills were a complete combat system. Shadow spin, though shadow damage plus hallucinations. Glide step, 3-meter dash that slows enemies. Shadow beat, passive every third consecutive skill triggers a bonus shadow pulse. 3 skills at level 0 that combo perfectly together. Most classes get 1 starting skill. He has 3 that chain. Then the corpse collector class, corpse collection. When collecting a corpse, randomly gain fragments of the dead person's memories. 1 skill. Sounds underwhelming until you realize, if you collect a dead warrior's body, you might learn their fighting techniques. A dead mage's memories could include spell knowledge. This kid has potentially infinite skill acquisition just by touching dead bodies. The CREPASD, most broken hidden class I've ever seen. Gordon's secrets run deep. Dual hidden classes. For specialties. A memory-stealing death ability. And he's walking around looking like an innocent puppy who just wants to do the right thing. I filed all of this information in my brain's maximum security vault. But honestly, even a 4-specialty genius is nothing compared to what's coming. When I start pulling Mediv, Arthas, and Thrall from card packs, every genius on this continent becomes a footnote. I turn to Rushu with my best businessman smile. President, let's go pick out that meditation technique. Meanwhile, at the Violet Academy, which I obviously wasn't present for, the second-year students were freaking out. Their headmaster had announced a combat internship that would determine whether they passed to 3rd year. Fail the internship? Repeat the entire year. Fail 3 times. Expelled. From a school where the tuition probably costs more than my parents' lifetime earnings. Who's the expert who criticized us for lacking practical experience? My magic will tear him to shreds. An actual student quote. These kids have been learning attack spells, and it shows. In a corner, 2 girls were eating lunch together. The class ranked 1 and 2, completely unbothered by grades because they're geniuses. One was Hera, gray hair, snow-white skin, tiny, wearing white robes, and deeply invested in romance fantasies. Oryxia, do you think I'll meet a handsome adventurer during the internship? We'll have a passionate connection, but then I have to return to school, and we're torn apart. Oh, the agony. I love it. The other was Oryxia, the half-red dragon berserker. The problem student I'd been hired to babysit. She had orange-red eyes and apparently 0 patience for her friends daydreaming. Hera, adventurers live outdoors. Sunburned. Weathered. Your clean-faced pretty boy type doesn't exist in that profession. Let me dream. And even if a cute teacher shows up, my aunt has already arranged dragon suitors for me. My future husband must be a dragon. End of discussion. A half-dragon girl whose family only accepts dragon boyfriends, being escorted by a team whose leader secretly commands a twilight dragon summon. The universe's comedy writing continues to be impeccable. Back in Rush's office, the old gladiator laid out 3 meditation paintings. Apparently, meditation in this world works by mentally copying a mystical image into your brain. Harder image equals better results. Painting 1, a terrifying deep ocean. A tiny fisherman struggling in violent waves. And deep below the surface, a massive unknown creature lurking as a silhouette. Creepy. Atmospheric. Painting 2, a white tower piercing the clouds, struck by lightning at its peak. The really disturbing part? The tower was covered in yellow eyeballs, bloodshot, resentful, and I swear they were blinking. This thing looked like it belonged in a horror museum. Painting 3, a giant dragon impaled by a colossal sword, pinned to an ancient battlefield. Dragon blood flowing in every direction. Humans crawling toward the dying dragon on their hands and knees. Sad. Dramatic. Heartbreaking. Like any of them, Rushu asked cheerfully. I tried mentally copying 1 and immediately got a headache. These weren't simple drawings. They were mystical constructs that fought back against your brain. Tough choice. Then Milhouse tugged my sleeve and pulled me to a corner. What's up? Oh ho ho, don't panic, little buddy. The great Milhouse has already memorized all 3 paintings. Carved them perfectly into my magnificent brain. I stared at him. We've been looking at those paintings for like 3 minutes. That's it. Already. These meditation images are interesting. Nothing like this existed in Azeroth. I'm actually excited about this world's magic now. Then came the real bomb. You're wondering which one to pick? Go with number 2. No hesitation. Why? because when I was copying them into my brain, painting 2 took the longest. That means it's the most complex. Most complex equals highest quality. Painting 1 was second best. Painting 3 was garbage. Then the cherry on top. Also, once I study the underlying mechanics, I can make you 1:1 copies of all 3. Shouldn't be hard. I wanted to kiss this gnome on his bald little head. He memorized 3 mystical meditation paintings in minutes and was offering to reproduce them for free. This is what having a legendary mage on your team means. Infinite value. I walked back and pointed at the White Tower painting. This one. What's it called? Rush's eye twitched. I'd picked his most valuable one. Of course I did. That's called Tower of Knowledge. Are you sure? It's extremely difficult to inscribe mentally. I'd personally recommend Death of a Dragon. Much easier, more beginner-friendly. The moment he tried to steer me away, I knew I'd chosen correctly. Nobody tries to redirect you from the bad option. Nope. This one. Final answer. Rush's face did that thing where someone smiles on the outside while screaming on the inside. Meanwhile, Milhouse had already copied all 3 paintings, was planning to reverse engineer meditation technology, and was probably going to advance this world's magical understanding by several centuries. And the Violet Academy students were on their way, including a half-dragon berserker girl whose family only dates dragons, and her romance-obsessed best friend who wanted a pretty boy teacher. They were going to get me as their teacher. One of us was going to be very surprised. Possibly all of us. I'm getting interested in this world's magic. Know any mages I can talk to? Milhouse asked this with complete sincerity, and honestly, fair request. The gnome had just memorized 3 meditation paintings in 3 minutes, and was already theorizing about cross-dimensional magical fusion. Keeping him intellectually stimulated was basically maintenance on my strongest weapon. Let me think. Lewis is off chasing a floating ghost city in demon-infested desert. The Violet Academy students arrive next week, but they're just apprentices. Oh wait, the Starfruit Tavern owner. She's a powerful mage. Teleported 2 high-tier fighters out of town with 1 spell. Her name escaped me, but her power didn't. That was some serious magic. Emily's apparently friends with her. I'll see if she can set up an introduction. Happy Milhouse equals happy me. And the really exciting news? After memorizing those 3 meditation paintings, Milhouse said his spirit stat actually increased. The paintings were making him stronger just by existing in his brain. If this gnome masters both Azeroth magic and this world's magic system simultaneously, he might actually become what he's always claimed to be, the greatest mage in existence. 2 magical traditions. 1 tiny gnome. The possibilities made my head spin. Meanwhile, a scene I reconstructed from Damien's enthusiastic retelling later, my golden-haired rich boy was grinding. He'd activated 10 combat training dummies at maximum difficulty. Not cheap stationary targets, but fancy magic-powered robots that dodged, attacked, and fought back realistically. His dad bought them for an obscene amount of money because of course he did. Damien was drenched in sweat, smashing through them with his family's legendary sun sword technique. Each destroyed dummy cost 500 gold to replace. He broke 3 in one attack, minus 1,500 gold. In 3 seconds. His butler was dying inside. Young master, those are expensive. Money is nothing. Breaking through to Tier 1 before Mist City opens is everything. After training? A medicinal bath. Custom brewed by a personal nutritionist using the rarest herbs money can buy. Cost per bath, 1,000 gold. Total daily training budget, approximately 3,000 gold. 3,000 gold per day. If someone gave me that budget, I'd be a god within a month. I'd buy 6 card packs, upgrade my tavern to Tier 5, and have Milhouse leading an army of legendary Hearthstone heroes by Tuesday. But credit where it's due, Damien's approach was working. 2 days of training, and his strength and constitution both hit 5, the level 0 cap. Just needed to push his spirit up, and he'd be ready for Tier 1 breakthrough. He estimated 2 weeks. Mist City opens in 3. Tight, but doable. Then this sweet, golden-haired puppy had a thought. Senior Raven is a summoner. He probably needs spirit equipment. I should bring him some gifts next time. This man was budgeting thoughtful presents for me while spending more per day than my family earned in a decade. I don't deserve this friendship. Back at the guild, Russia was on a crystal ball call with his old buddy Kohler, the Violet Academy headmaster. Did you find someone for Arixia's internship? Her mother is pressuring me. Relax. I found a team with a Tier 6 Archmage. Plenty strong enough. Kohler was impressed. Then he remembered something. Oh wait. Arixia's mother specifically said to watch her daughter's romantic situation. No boys allowed near her precious half-dragon baby. Is this Archmage handsome? Rush's brain instantly flashed to my face. 20 points of weaponized charisma. But Kohler asked about the mage. Not the team leader. The mage? He's an elderly gnome, an old gnome. Kohler smiled with complete satisfaction. Perfect. No way Arixia would be attracted to that. No problems here. Goodbye. The crystal ball went dark. And then Rushu started laughing. That evil, scheming, delighted laugh of a man who just set a trap without technically lying. You asked if the mage was handsome, old friend. You never asked about the other team members. I answered honestly. If something happens, that's your problem. He was picturing my 20 charisma face meeting a half-dragon girl whose family forbids human relationships, and he was practically vibrating with anticipation. This old gladiator wasn't assigning us a quest. He was buying front-row tickets to a show. I went home early because Millhouse and the tavern owner Florina started talking about magic, and I literally could not understand a single word. Non-local spiritual mass collapse. Allotropic transduction. Extra-spiritual symbiotic rejection response. What does any of that mean? These two mages locked onto each other's wavelength like twin satellites and started broadcasting in a language that made advanced calculus look like a children's book. It was like being back in university during that one lecture where the professor forgot humans were in the room. Screw this. I'm going home to train. Home. Meditation painting. Let's go. I opened the Tower of Knowledge and immediately felt my brain being invaded by ancient mystical knowledge. Those yellow eyeballs on the tower were definitely winking at me. Not comforting. First attempt at the guild, I tried copying top-down and nearly fried my brain on the lightning bolt. This time, bottom up. Much smarter. The base went smoothly. Progress. Then the middle section, and something weird happened. The white tower transformed in my mind's eye into stacked books, and the eyeballs became bookmarks nestled between pages. I didn't even question it. My brain just accepted it like, yes, this is how it's supposed to look. Then came the top. The lightning bolt. This wasn't imagining a lightning bolt. This was experiencing one. My body felt like it became the tower, and the lightning was striking me. Sweat pouring down my face like a waterfall. Hands trembling. Head splitting open with pain. Keep going. Don't stop. If you stop, it all resets. One final push, and done. I opened my eyes. My clothes were soaked through like I'd been swimming. I looked outside. Dawn. The sky was turning light. I'd been meditating for the entire night. Without noticing, my sense of time completely evaporated. The panel updated. Spirit. 0.1/3.1. Millhouse occupying 2. Glacial Shard occupying 1. Meditation. Tower of Knowledge. LV.0. 1 out of 10. Progress. Spirit went up by 0.1. A new purple rank skill appeared. Purple meaning it's way higher quality than my white rank collection skill. Every drop of sweat was worth it. Man, I wish I could just tap a plus button on my stats like those isekai novel protagonists. In my past life, I read stories where the main character literally presses a button and gets stronger. Meanwhile, I'm here getting electrocuted by an imaginary tower for 8 hours to gain 0.1 spirit. The universe gave me a gaming cheat system, but kept the grinding. Rude. Over the next 2 days, I threw myself into meditation like a madman. And Millhouse? He was doing the same thing. Except his version took 10 minutes per session. No painting needed. Just close eyes. Done. Spirit goes up. Millhouse, how? How what? It's simple. First you do this, then you do that. That explains nothing. Foolish human. Your talent is insignificant compared to the great gnome race. His spirit went from 45 to 50 in 2 days. 5 points. I gained 0.4. He gained 5. I was getting brain zapped by lightning for hours. He was doing 10-minute meditation speedruns and gaining 12 times more. I won't lie. I was a little bit destroyed emotionally. But progress is progress. Spirit. 3.1 3.5 Tower of Knowledge. LV.0. 5/10. Halfway to level 1. I could feel it. Once this skill levels up, meditation speed would improve significantly. Maybe not Millhouse level, but better than. 8 hours for 0.1 points. Tonight, though? No meditation. Because tonight is Sunday. Tavern night. New minions. Bob's beautiful head. Round 3. I was practically vibrating with excitement. Then Emily bounced through the door like a blue-haired sunbeam. I'm home. Lynn, I got a raise. More adventurers flooding into town meant more work at the guild, which meant more pay. Her blue hair had grown longer, past her shoulders now, adding this soft, gentle quality that was different from the cute tomboy look. More womanly. I reached out and patted her head without thinking. Her hair was still impossibly soft. Her face went full tomato. Lynn, don't, she said, don't. But she was absolutely not moving away. 20 charisma. Works on succubi. Works on vice captains. Works on childhood friends. Nobody is safe. But enough romance. The tavern awaits. Bob awaits. New minions await. Let's see what round 3 has in store. At the Starfruit Tavern, a scene Millhouse told me about later, my gnome was having the time of his life nerding out with Florina. She'd come to a fascinating conclusion about him. He was simultaneously the most knowledgeable and most ignorant mage she'd ever met. He didn't know stuff that 3-year-olds know in this world, but his magical theories were so advanced they were solving problems she'd struggled with for years. She was genuinely starting to wonder if he was even from this planet. Correct instinct, lady. He's from a different franchise. As thanks, she offered him the tavern's legendary treasure, Starfruit wine. First sip permanently adds 1 to your spirit cap. Millhouse's attitude did a complete 180 in under 1 second. Went from suspicious, "Are you bribing the great Millhouse?" to, "Oh wow, how generous. May your spell work never fail," with his hands rubbing together like a scheming fly. Then, and I genuinely appreciate this, he asked for 2 glasses. 1 for himself and 1 for me. The gnome remembered his roommate. What a guy? Florina heard, Lynn, and got this mischievous look. She'd been hearing the mage's pretty boy rumors and was clearly doing the math. Her and Millhouse, living together. The gossip columns. No, it's not like that. Stop. That night, I skipped meditation and went to sleep early. Tavern night. Bob's bald head. New minions. Exciting stuff. Except the dream didn't go to the tavern. I opened my eyes in a golden sky, standing on clouds. Above me floated an Eastern woman. Beautiful, serene, hands forming Buddhist mudras, eyes half closed. Have mercy on my people. Their suffering is so great. Have mercy on my people. Their suffering is so great, over and over and over. The lotus-born bodhisattva, from the White Lotus Sutra. The cult scripture from the Silver Hand Contract. Every hair on my body stood up. I shot from my tailbone to the top of my skull. Her eyes opened. There was no mercy in those eyes. There was an ocean of blood and mountains of corpses. 2 trails of blood tears ran down her cheeks while she kept chanting with that fake compassionate smile. Have mercy on my people. The words were drilling into my ears. Burrowing. Worming their way into my brain. Have mercy on my... I almost repeated it. My mouth started forming the words automatically. Like a reflex. Like something was hijacking my vocal cords. I slapped myself across the face. Hard. The stinging pain snapped me back to reality. What am I doing? Am I insane? The chanting continued. The voice kept pushing against my mind. Cold sweat dripping down my face. Think. Think. If I repeat that phrase, something terrible happens. I don't know what, but every survival instinct in 2 lifetimes was screaming code red. This thing found me because I read the White Lotus Sutra. I didn't even chant it in the spirit realm like the contract wanted. I just read it at home. And this cosmic horror nun still tracked me down in my dreams. She came for me. I didn't go looking for her. Rage. Pure, volcanic, unreasonable rage exploded from somewhere deep inside my chest. This fake Buddhist demon was trying to brainwash me in my own sleep. I opened my mouth and in perfect Mandarin Chinese, with flawless pronunciation and absolute conviction, delivered my response. Lotus-born Bodhisattva, I F your mother. The chanting stopped. Complete silence. The Bodhisattva just stared at me. Those blood ocean eyes went completely blank with confusion. She even stopped her hand mudras to scratch her ear, like she wasn't sure she heard correctly. An ancient cosmic entity just got so confused by a Chinese profanity that she broke character. Greatest moment of 2 lifetimes. Then my Hearthstone birthmark burned hot. and a powerful force yanked my consciousness downward. I didn't resist. I fell through layers of reality, darkness everywhere, space folding around me, and landed in the warm, amber glow of the Hearthstone Tavern. The smell of wheat beer, crackling fireplace, and there, polishing his mug with that eternal smile, was the most beautiful bald head in any dimension. Bob, I missed you so much. Adventurer, I missed you too. Don't worry, I'll support you from the shadows. That line. In the game, every time Bob said, I'll support you from the shadows, it meant your next round was going to be terrible. It was a curse disguised as encouragement. But tonight it might have been literal. Whatever pulled me away from that psycho bodhisattva and into the safety of this tavern, it might have actually been Bob, or the tavern itself, or whatever ancient power created this place. For the first time ever, I believe Bob meant it. Bob, quick question, how do I actually get here each time? First visit, walked through a wasteland, pushed open a door. Second visit, fell asleep, appeared directly inside. Third visit, got intercepted by a cult goddess, then got yanked here by force. 3 completely different entry methods. There had to be a pattern. If I could figure out the rules, I could protect myself next time some interdimensional horror tried to hijack my dream transit. But that's a puzzle for later. Right now, round 3. New minions. Time to shop. And somewhere in the golden sky, a very confused bodhisattva was still scratching her ear. I don't understand what you're saying, adventurer. Bob tilted his shiny head at my question about how I get here each week. Useless. Beautiful, but useless. The innkeeper was out again. Where does this dwarf keep going? I glanced toward the tavern door. What's outside? Azeroth. The wasteland from my first visit? Some other dimension entirely? Mental note. One day, when I'm strong enough, I'm walking out that door. But today? Shopping time. Bob laid out 5 cards. 1 extra compared to last round because I upgraded to Tavern Level 2. More options, more possibilities, more dopamine. Upgrading to Level 3 would cost 6 coins, but my weekly cap was only 5. To get that 6th coin, I'd have to sell my Twilight Whelp. Not happening. Not yet. Let's see what Bob's offering first. Card 1, Eternal Night. 2-star, for halves undead. Every time any friendly Eternal Night dies, all Eternal Knights everywhere gain 4/2, including ones sitting in the tavern. The more they die, the stronger they come back. It's literally an undead army that feeds on its own casualties. Give me 1,000 of these, and I'd personally recreate the Scourge invasion across this entire continent. Tempting, but not the priority today. Card 2, Doom Prophet. 1-star, 2/1, Demon Naga Dual Tribe. Economy card that discounts tavern spells. Useful but boring. Card 3, Hungry Caveman. 1-star, 2/3. Buy 4 cards total, and he gets 4/4. Eat enough, get strong. Relatable. Card 4. I saw the Silver Dragon icon on the card frame. My heart stopped. Silver Dragon equals legendary. I looked at the name, read it 3 times, then nearly screamed. Terracosa, 2-star legendary. April 4th. Dragon. Permanently keeps all bonus keywords and stat buffs gained during combat. A blue dragon. Not just any blue dragon. One of the most talented spellcasters in the entire Blue Dragon flight. In Warcraft lore, she sacrificed herself to stop Deathwing and was transformed into a legendary weapon. One of the saddest storylines in the franchise. My past life self cried actual tears during that questline. And now she was sitting on Bob's counter as a recruitable tavern minion. In the game, Terracosa was decent but not broken. But in reality, Millhouse went from meme gnome to 50 spirit archmage when summoned into the real world. Terracosa is from the Blue Dragon flight, the race with the strongest magical abilities among all dragons. Her real-world stats could be astronomical. Plus, tavern minions respawn every week. Even if she dies, she comes back. The character who died permanently in the original story now has immortality through my system. I'm literally giving a dead hero a second chance at life. I'll take her. 3 coins spent. 2 remaining. Can't afford another minion. But, card 5, Recruiter Rookie. Tavern spell. 2 coins. Randomly generates a 1-star minion. Exactly 2 coins. I bought it and activated. Flash of light. New card materialized. Razorfin Diviner. 1-star, 2/1, Quillbore. Battlecry. Get 2 blood gems. Blood Gem. Spell. Give a minion 1/1. Nice. Those blood gems can stack on my Twilight Whelp to make her tankier. More HP on a taunt minion equals more time alive equals more safety for me. I like your choice. She won't let you down. Bob's generic approval line. But for once it felt earned. Now, the real event. Card pack time. Statistically, I should not expect a legendary. Average is 1 per 20 packs. I already pulled Millhouse from pack 1. Lightning doesn't strike twice. But you know I was still hoping. You always hope. That's the addiction. That's the disease. That's Hearthstone. Bob. 500 gold. 1 standard pack. I handed over the coins. 500 gold. Earned through blood, sweat, robbery, and 1 very traumatized vice captain. My hands were tingling. Let's rip this thing open. Pack opening results. 1 rare, for commons. No legendary. Statistics are undefeated. But honestly, the haul was solid. Amber Priestess. 1/4. Taunt. Battlecry heals an ally equal to her HP. A healer with tank capabilities. My team has warriors, rogues, a mage, and a summoner. We're missing a medic. This priestess fills that gap perfectly. Cost. 2 spirit. Headhunter's Axe, a weapon card. 2 damage, 2 durability, gains durability if I control a beast. Combos with my nature spirit spell that summons ghost wolves or hawks. Small synergy, but synergies add up. Cost. 2 spirit. Murloc Tidehunter. Summons a 1/1 Murloc buddy. Classic token generator. Cost. 2 spirit. Carrion Flytrap. The rare. 2/7 with an ability that absorbs the attack power of any minion that dies nearby. If minion includes monsters killed during adventures. This plant could become a monster just by sitting near combat zones eating corpses. Cost. 7 spirit. Way too expensive for now. Rest and recuperate. Holy Spell. Summons 2 1/1 Silver Hand recruits with Divine Shield. Ironic name considering I just destroyed the Silver Hand in this world. If those recruits ever found out what their namesake organization does here, they'd riot. Not bad overall. The Amber Priestess alone was worth the 500 gold. I woke up, stared at my crappy ceiling again, and immediately remembered I'd planned to upgrade my living situation last week and completely forgot.